The boy who everyone thinks is the city's dumbest barges into the throne room and brings the information that a certain Zhu family is going to propose to marry Lady Mulan. They're all shocked because this info can change the course of an upcoming war. Even though they know this boy is famous for being dumb and flirting with all women, the information is valuable, so when they say he's going to be rewarded, the boy sees his first chance and kneels begging for a job. Why? He just wants to get closer to the goddess of this place and seduce her with his 10 out of 10 looks. The emperor gives him a random job to work for another son, but someone else barges through the door and informs them that the general of the Zhu family is heading there. The marriage proposal is actually coming much earlier, and now the MC has only 3 hours before the goddess is handed to someone else. This puts the family in an uproar. The mom says they should refuse, but the father knows that the Zhu family will take it as an insult and remove their war support. Mulan suddenly says she's going to disfigure her face so no one wants her, but the knife is instantly removed, and he explains that even with an ugly face they will want this marriage. They both knew the answer. The only way out was to be already married. The dad didn't want to go for it, but she begged for it to protect the country's interests. He hesitates for a moment, but seeing her he accepts and writes a letter announcing a short competition to marry Mulan. Only the best in the kingdom should be informed. But they both turn their heads when Shen Lang, known as the dumbest, most promiscuous, and least educated in the country, calls them all and says he wants to participate. Bro steps in confidently and tells Mulan he wishes to marry her. Before the father kills him, the mother reminds him that Shen Lang is mentally challenged, a literal R-rated boy with mental disabilities. He calms down until Mulan shouts, yes, since he's so idiotic it has to be him, the famous dumb boy of the city. For Mulan he was like a young innocent baby, perfect as a fake husband. But then she explains that she's just saying she's letting him participate in the competition, and the anxious father relaxes. He even asks the servants to help the boy prepare himself. But what they didn't know is that Shen Lang was far from the dumbest. He was actually the most intelligent, informed, and cunning young man in the whole country. Why? See this disfigured face? That's Shen Lang in his past life, someone who learned that an ugly person would never have the chance to reproduce. Before he was an extremely attractive and famous chemist, but an accident completely disfigured his face, and the way people treated him changed completely. But that didn't change how talented he was, skilled in chemistry and now a doctor. He dedicated himself to helping war-torn regions, until an American bomb came flying. He saw it shining and just begged that if he was reborn, that at least he'd be handsome. As all fades to black, he opened his eyes as Shen Lang bro didn't hesitate for a second. He went straight for the mirror and smiled. He was astonishingly handsome. The memories of the original body owner started flooding in. Turns out this Shen Lang dude has the same name as him. He's in a place called Mythical Turtle City, but the original owner of this body had bad reputation. Everyone thought he was a complete waste of space. This guy studied for 10 years and couldn't recognize a single word. Not only that, but he couldn't even win a fight against a chicken, even if his life depended on it. But wait, it gets better. After meeting the daughter of the Su family once, this simp went full obsession mode. When Miss Su got sick and needed a husband to change her luck because apparently that's how medicine works in this world, our original Shen Lang volunteered. The Su family maids beat him up and humiliated him, treating him. Luckily for him, the young lady recovered and actually stood up for him. So they got married, but it's one of those married in name-only situations. They didn't act like a couple at all, but our delusional original Shen Lang was perfectly happy just seeing her face every day. Then half a month later, he was hit with a mysterious illness that nobody could cure. That's when our reincarnated Dr. Boy took over the body. So now our boy is sitting there processing all this information and getting hyped about being married to a rich hottie when he hears footsteps outside. He goes to eavesdrop and hears two maids straight up discussing how he should kick the bucket already. These girls are out here saying he's a good-for-nothing who doesn't deserve to be the Su family's son-in-law, and they literally came to check if he was dead yet. The door swings open in surprise. Our boy's standing there fit and fine. The maids absolutely lose it. They start screaming and running away like they've seen a ghost, yelling about how this idiot is still alive. Shen Lang standing there confused as hell, wondering if these maids literally tried to murder him. Before he can spiral into paranoia, he notices something weird. There's a laptop in his mind. Not like a mental image, but his actual laptop from Earth, left exactly how he had it. Then he realizes his eyes are different now. When he looks at objects, he can see through them. My guy's got X-ray vision. Turns out the X-ray machine from his lab fused with him during the time travel, along with that missile that killed him. So now he's got a built-in medical scanner. But it gets even better. The computer and X-ray vision are integrated. When he looks at stuff, he can accurately identify what it is and get all the technical specs. Right then, someone walks in. And the first thing Shen Lang's eyes lock onto? The phrase 36D? I'm not even joking. Ro's reincarnated superpowers immediately went to work identifying the important details. The person in question is Su Qianshan, his wife, and apparently his X-ray vision has priorities. She's extremely concerned about him. After hearing from the maid that Shen Lang woke up, she immediately called for a doctor. The doctor examines him and his face goes through about 15 different expressions before he finally announces that Shen Lang is perfectly fine. Su Qianshan's face changes real quick. She turns to the doctor with this suspicious look and goes, "How could this be possible?" Su Qianshan realizes she just exposed herself and quickly switches gears. She starts fake crying, putting on this whole concerned wife act. But our boy isn't the same idiot anymore. With his X-ray vision and genius Dr. Brain, he can see right through her BS. He's sitting there watching her and cursing the original. Shen Lang was thinking about how that idiot was so head over heels for her that he missed this massive red flag of a woman. During their conversation, Shen Lang picks up on what Su Qianshan's really trying to do. She wants him gone and she is dropping these big hints, but our boy plays idiot and pretends not to know anything. Sitting there, she is thinking to herself, why isn't he taking the hint? That's when the door gets keskiki opn. Some guy walks in and immediately goes, stop beating around the bush with this idiot. Then this bastard walks right up to Su Qianshan and kisses her. Right in front of Shishidi and Lane Ji. Then points at our boy and casually drops, she's my fiancé now. Get lost. Shen Lang's just standing there processing the fact that he got NTR'd before he even got to enjoy being married. Turns out Su Qianshan was only sick and needed some disposable husband for good luck. Now that she's better, he's getting the boot to the behind. Then this bitch sits next to our boy and tells him how he is nice but they don't fit together. Our boy realized that there is no helping it, so he turned to that bastard and told him that he'll leave as they wish, but nah, this bastard wasn't having it. He told our boy to leave the place in an hour or else. Now that they are gone and our boy is alone, our boy gets out of the bed quickly. Bro's not even sad. He's thinking with this new handsome face, finding another rich woman should be easy. Man's already planning his next gold-digging operation. But then he overhears Zhang Ji and Su Qianshan talking. They're discussing inviting Jin Mulan from the Earl's mansion. Shen Lang's gold digger senses immediately activate. Jin Mulan, Earl's mansion. That's a major upgrade from the Su family. And he's already planning his triumphant return to make the Su family regret everything. Then we cut to our boy getting the boot and the man panel is seriously funny. Shen Lang doesn't even care. He's heading home, probably thinking about his master plan to bag Jin Mulan. Meanwhile, back at the Su family, some middle-aged dude is looking at our boy and orders his servant to take care of him. Su Qianshan told him to at least wait for a day, saying that she is worried about her reputation. The family head tells her they had to do this to keep Zhang Jai happy. Meanwhile, our boy's walking home at night when suddenly some big dudes jump him, telling him to come with them. He knows he can't fight them, so he just lets them take him. But what he daily is ending to expect is how ruthless the Su family actually is. These bastards are planning to bury him alive. The leader of his crew is some notorious underworld boss named Tian Hang. Dude's got hundreds of murders under his belt, an absolute menace within 100 miles. Shen Lang activates his X-ray vision to scope out the situation and notices something weird. There's a silver needle stuck inside Tian Hang's body. Tian Hang catches him staring and removes the claw from his mouth, asking what the hell he's looking at. Shen Lang just straight up tells him, yo, you've got a needle in your body and it's going to kill you. The whole crew exchanges looks. Even Tian Hang's stunned because not even his wife knows about this needle. Shen Lang adds that he can remove it. Tian Hang asks what he wants in return. Our boy lays out his terms, spare his life and tell him who want him dead. Tian Hang straight up laughs and says no. Shen Lang's completely confused. Does this guy have a death wish? Did he put the needle there himself? Then Tian Hang drops the truth bomb. Nobody hired him to kill Shen Lang. Turns out Shen Lang's brother borrowed 5 gold coins from him, and with interest compounding like a predatory payday loan, it ballooned to 100 gold coins. Since they can't pay, Shen Lang is getting buried alive as compensation. Then we cut to 2 months ago, right after Shen Lang married into the Su family, his father showed up trying to take him back home. The old man disagreed with the marriage, but the Su family's guards beat him up and threw him out. The original Shen Lang was so obsessed with Su Qianshan that he abandoned his own parentage for her. Then Shen Lang hears Tian Hang ordering his men to not only bury him, but also kill his parents. And Tian Hang's being merciful, he'll make Shen Lang's death quick. Just as the blade's coming down his neck, Shen Lang yells out, I'll repay you 1,000 gold coins. That's 10 times the debt. The blade stops right at his throat. Shen Lang says give him 3 days and he'll get the money. The bandits all look at each other then at Tian Hang. The leader orders his goon to let go of our boy and tells him to bring back the money in 3 days. Seeing his reaction, our boy realized that the Su family gave Tian Hang a 3-day deadline to finish him off. But whenever Shen Lang agrees to the terms, Tian Hang has someone bring out paper to draft a written agreement. Shen Lang's like, nah, we don't need that. Then this absolute madman tears off a piece of his clothing, pricks his finger, and writes the agreement directly in his own beloaded. Tian Hang's watching this thinking, is this really the same intellectual waste everyone talks about? After giving him a warning, Tian Hang sends 2 of his men to escort Shen Lang home. On the way back, Shen Lang's racking his brain trying to figure out how to make 2,000 gold coins in 3 days. When he gets home, the scene hits different. His father's gravely ill but still talking about going to the Su family to bring Shen Lang back because he's worried they're mistreating him. His mother feels the same way. And his brother? Dude's got broken legs and he's still determined to go get Shen Lang. Shen Lang hears all this and immediately opens the door, drops to his knees, and gives his family a deep bow. They're absolutely overjoyed to see him. He quietly says he's back, then apologizes to his mother and father one by one. His mom just hugs him, saying everything's fine. But they notice something's different about him. His eyes are clearer, more focused. His brother guesses the Su family kicked him out, which his mother actually thinks is great news because now she can arrange another marriage for him. With Widow Liu from the village, Shen Lang's just standing there like, Mom, please no. but he chuckles and shifts focus to his father's illness. Using his X-ray vision, he checks the damage, several broken ribs and severe hemorrhaging in the lungs. Thanks to his decades of medical experience from his past life, he immediately knows what to do. Drain the blood from the lungs first, then implement a series of treatments. Then he checks his brother's broken leg. The fracture is relatively clean, which is good, but then his brother suggests they could pretend to get injured in accidents for compensation money. Shen Lang just facepalms. He flicks his brother's leg over and tells him to drop these crooked ideas, reassuring him that he can fix the leg. The next day, Shen Lang spends the entire day gathering medicinal herbs. When he gets back home, he sets up a makeshift operating table and gets to work on his father. Using his exquisite medical skills, he successfully performs the operation. His mother's absolutely blown away. She's looking at Shen Lang like he's some kind of miracle worker. With skills like this, she's already thinking he could marry the village chief's daughter. Shen Lang has seen the chief's daughter before and is immediately terrified by the idea. He quickly says he needs some fresh air outside, but as he's heading out, reality smacks him in the face. He's only got 2 days left. If he doesn't come up with the money, his entire family's dead. So much for relaxing. When he goes back inside, his mother brings him a basin of water to wash his feet. Shen Lang tries to refuse, but his mom looks like she's about to cry, so he gives in. The next morning, there's a knock on the door. It's the 2 bandits, telling Shen Lang to hurry up and make that money because time's running out. Hearing the knock, his mother walks out, and then these bastards start pretending to be his friends so his mother doesn't worry. Shen Lang's actually surprised at how quickly these bastards can switch up their attitude. He tells his mom they're heading to the city. She immediately offers them food, but one of the bandits says his home is on the way. They'll eat there. As they're about to leave, Shen Lang's mother grabs his hand and gives him a boiled egg, telling him to eat it when he gets hungry. Man, the wholesomeness is too much. Looking at the egg, our boy gets all emotional. He is thinking how there are only 2 eggs left in the house, and both his parents are sick, but his mom's giving her egg to him. So he hits her with that big idiotic smile and tells her he's okay. Then he leaves with the 2 bandit bastards. Cut to 4 hours later. Our boy is here saying the original Shen Lang, thinking about how he's in this mess because of that simp. On their way to Turtle City, they run into 2 men. One of the bandits seems to know them. He calls the old guy Uncle Lee and asks why they haven't been coming around lately. He's all friendly, saying even though they owe a little debt, it shouldn't matter since he and his father are like brothers. The old dude looks surprised at first, then says he'll come by tomorrow. The bandit puts his hand on both their shoulders, saying his father told him they don't have to pay back the money anymore. Then he leads them into some bushes. A little while later, this bastard returns alone. He casually reveals he just killed both of them for failing to repay their debts. Shen Lang is shocked when he hears their debt started at 3 gold coins but ballooned to 25 because of interest. One of them had even been friends with Tian Hang's father for over a decade, wiping the blood off of his sword. The bandit warns Shen Lang that he won't show mercy either. He doubts Shen Lang can earn 1,000 gold coins because that's equivalent to the savings of hundreds of households over several decades. Our boy just confidently says he'll earn the 1,000 gold coins today. Soon they arrive the busiest commercial street in mythical Turtle City and stop in front of this fancy building with a sign reading Brocade and Embroidery Pavilion. Shen Lang's money-making plan, which also happens to be his revenge scheme against the Su family, starts here. Because the Brocade and Embroidery Pavilion is in the silk business too, making them direct competitors with the Su family. Shen Lang immediately asks the waiter to call out the owner, promising a business deal that could earn them an additional 5,000 gold coins a year. The waiter looked at our boy and almost shooed him away. But when the bandit introduces himself as Tian Shizhen from the Black Clothes Gang, the servant's attitude changes real quick without wasting a second. He shows them to the chief's cabin. Inside the hall, they meet Lin Mo, the owner of the Brocade and Embroidery Pavilion. Our boy doesn't waste a second, he gets straight to business, saying he's got a unique secret formula to sell for 2,000 gold coins. Lin Mo hears the price and immediately orders the guards to throw our boy away. The bandit gets furious, thinking Shen Lang's making a fool of them. But then Shen Lang pulls out a piece of golden fabric. Lin Mo takes a closer look and his whole attitude shifts. He's shocked. Gold silk is an exclusive material for royalty, and the Su family made their fortune with it. But the color of the Su family's gold silk looks like garbage compared to what our boy's holding. And our boy just happens to have stumbled upon this dye because this gold silk is just a byproduct of Shen Lang's medicinal brewing. Lin Mo asks our boy how he could trust him, so our boy told him that he can produce even better quality within 2 hours if provided with the right material. Then we cut to 2 hours later. Our boy walks out of the brewing room holding this radiant piece of gold silk. He asks Lin Mo if his money is ready, and that bastard nods and asks our boy about the formula. Our boy gives the formula to Lin Mo so he can verify it's legit. He demonstrates the process, dyeing the fabric golden right in front of him. As Shen Lang was about to leave with his money, he heard a loud voice. The head of the Su family storms in, accusing our boy of stealing their secret formula. Our boy is shocked to hear this and turns to Lin Mo, who doesn't even deny that he sold him out. He just casually mentions his son studying at a military academy under the protection of the Su family's son-in-law, Jiang Jin. Shen Lang's expression goes dark. He realizes he just got played. This was a setup from the start. Then Su Kanshin starts her waterworks, tearfully saying how disappointed she is in him. She's like, why didn't you just ask me for money if you needed it? They're playing the victims, and the Su family even reported this to the authorities. But our boy is not even worried. He laughs at the accusation, saying it's his formula. The golden dye he created is way better than theirs anyway. He challenges the Su family head to provide evidence of the supposed theft. The Su family head has no proof, so he just resorts to insults. Goes off saying Shen Lang's a worthless person with no skills or knowledge. How could he possibly come up with a dye formula? Our boy turns to the officials and proposes a challenge. Let's see who can produce the better gold dye. The officials are like, sure, why not? Su Qianqian turns to Shen Lang, saying if he really thinks he can make better dye than theirs when he's just a good for nothing. But our boy doubles down. He says not only can he make a better golden dye than theirs, but he can also make a purple one. Now, in this era, purple dye is way harder to make than gold. Purple dye needs to be extracted from seashells, and you need 300 seashells just to make 1 gram. And since this is medieval times, nobody's mastered the extraction method yet, so everyone just mixes red and blue and hopes for the best. Back to the present, Shen Lang looks at these bastards and asks if they accept the challenge. Qianqian accepts, but then this narcissistic bastard adds a condition that if he wins, Master Xu would have to apologize to him. The Hexu clan head agrees. Our boy sets a 3-hour deadline and gets to work, aiming to create something beyond this era's understanding. He even tells the officials to bring more witnesses to watch this competition. Cut to 3 hours later, the Su family showcases their purple silk and everyone's amazed. Then Su Qianqian has a servant show the golden silk formula to the official. After examining it, the official says the documents existed for many years, which basically confirms Shen Lang stole the formula. They're about to arrest him when our boy steps out. He looks at the Su family's purple silk and thinks, damn, this actually looks pretty good. No wonder these bastards were famous for their soap business. Then he presents his own. The color of Shen Lang's silk shocks everyone. Unlike the dull purple silk from the Su family, Shen Lang's silk is vibrant and dazzling with this unmatched purity of color. He challenges them, asking if this was also stolen from their formula. Su Qianqian and her family are completely thrown off. Seeing they're not having it, our boy pulls out his trump card, multicolored rainbow silk. The official rushes over to examine it, completely amazed at the natural and extraordinary colors. With that, our boy asks the officials to do the justice. The Su family head, having no face left to save, dismisses the accusation and leaves. Su Qianqian, holding back her anger, apologizes to Shen Lang before also leaving. She's wondering how this idiot suddenly became a master of dyeing. After they leave, our boy turns to the official, casually asking how he's doing and how Miss Jin from the Earl's mansion is. Turns out Shen Lang's confidence in challenging the Su family was partly because this young lord has beef with Jiang Jin. Now we get hit with a flashback from 3 years ago. The OG Shen Lang was sitting lakeside doing his usual idiotic business, smelling flowers and whatnot. At the same time, a hunting party was chasing this huge bear. During the pursuit, the bear gets to our boy and is about to end him when this smoking hot beauty leaps from her horse and saves him just in time. The person who saved him that day was none other than Jin Mulan. After killing the black bear, they brought the injured Shen Lang back home. Not only that, but she even sent someone to look after our boy and visited him personally. At that time, the young Lord Wang Gang had just been promoted. Since he secretly liked Jin Mulan, he came to teach our boy personally, hoping to win her favor by teaching Shen Lang, who was associated with her. But his plan never worked, as Jin Mulan never came back to visit our boy. With that, Wang Gang stopped teaching him and even threatened him not to tell anyone about their lessons. Our boy had heard that Wang Gang had some beef with that bastard Jiang Ji, and that's why he dared to be this bold. Back to the present, the chief was absolutely furious at our boy for calling Jin Mulan by her name. He wanted to beat him up but turned to leave instead. Looking at him go, our boy was mentally prepared to be his love rival, but before that, he had other things to worry about. The Xu family would hate his guts even more than before, so he had to be extra careful. After leaving the pavilion, he encountered Su Qianqian. She tried to persuade our boy by crying and looking sorrowful, and apologized to Shen Lang, thinking that he'd hand over the rainbow silk formula. But our boy wasn't that big of a simp to get fooled by this woman twice. He ignored her, refusing to be exploited again. Just then, she reminded our boy that he owes the Black Cloth Gang 1,000 coins. Our boy starts freaking out, wondering how she knew about it. When she left, the bandit told our boy that he should have agreed to her proposal since there are only 7 hours left in his deadline. With that, he left, telling our boy to arrange the funds quickly to avoid any harm to his family. Shen Lang realized the gravity of the situation. Even if he paid Tian Hang, the Su family would likely continue to threaten his family to obtain the formula. He knew he had to find a permanent solution to this problem. Cut to some random street in the city. The sound of galloping horses comes from behind. Shen Lang squeezes through the crowd and sees a cavalry troop led by Jin Mulan. Seeing her, he gets an idea and decides to add a new element to his plan. As Jin Mulan's horse passes by, our boy deliberately lets himself get hit, faking an accident. He's hoping Jin Mulan, who once collided with him 3 years ago, would take him home this time. And it works. Jin Mulan immediately gets off her horse and checks if Shen Lang is breathing. Looking at him, she can't help but notice how handsome our boy is. At the same time, she's relieved to find him unharmed. She orders her men to take him to the Earl's estate for treatment. Shen Lang's feeling pretty good about himself. His ability to save his family and beat the Su family depends on how well he plays this. Our boy gets put in a carriage heading 20 kilometers away to the Earl's mansion. On his way, he is wondering how the Earl's estate of mythical turtle is completely different from the city. It's got its own manor and castle. The Su family, rich as they are, look broke compared to the Earl's estate. Inside the estate's council hall, Jin Mulan, dressed casually, meets with her father and mother. Her father asks how her military exercise went. She tells him everything, and he's pleased with her performance but worried about their family's situation. Jin Mulan's brother isn't up to the task, and the kingdom's starting to strip the nobility of their military power. Hearing this, she tells her father not to worry. She's not planning to marry and bail on them. She tells him she'll support their house so it won't fall, and she's staying unmarried for life to help her brother. Jin Sakai sighs, admitting his son's pretty useless. Just then, a servant walks in and says our boy requested an audience about Jin Mulan's marriage. Jin Sakai goes, "Who the hell is that?" The servant explains Jin Mulan picked him up on the streets. He lets our boy in. As he walks into the room, he gets straight to the point. He tells them the Zhu family wants a marriage alliance with the Earl's mansion, and that bastard Zhu Hongsu is planning to propose to Jin Mulan. Hearing this, both Jin Mulan and Jin Sakai are completely shocked to hear that. Turns out the Zhu family is the top aristocrat in the Yu kingdom. They're related by marriage to the ruler of the country and hold the position of governor of the southern province. Zhu Lin, who's famous for pacifying the south, is from this family. Jin Sakai's like, "Hold up, how the hell do you know this confidential information?" Our boy tells him he used to be a son-in-law in the Su family. Su Qianshan and her new fiancé Zhang Jin discussed this matter right in front of him like he was a piece of furniture. Jin Sakai asks his servant who exactly this guy is. The servant told him that he's the Su family's ex-son-in-law who got kicked out for supposedly stealing and behaving inappropriately toward a maid. Jin Sakai's blood pressure is skyrocketing right now. He wants to beat this dude up but holds back since he's got bigger problems on his plate. Jin Sakai, still skeptical because of the Su family's slander campaign, orders an investigation to verify these claims. Even though he has serious reservations about Shen Lang, he recognizes how serious this situation is and promises him a reward for the information. Our boy wants nothing more than to ask for Jin Mulan's hand right then and there, but he holds back. He decides to play the long game. So instead, he requests to stay at the Earl's estate and work there. His intention isn't just employment. He wants to be close to Jin Mulan and win her over. Jin Sakai agrees and says from now on, Shen Lang will study with his son. Just then a servant comes running in, absolutely freaking out. He tells Jin Sakai that Shu Lin arrived in the city last night and is heading to Xuanwu City right now. Both our boy and Jin Sakai start panicking. Shen Lang is thinking, why are these guys working so fast? He's already imagining this bastard showing up and bagging his Jin Mulan. Later, Jin Sakai gets confirmation that the earlier info was legit. Shu Lin had already arrived and wanted to catch them off guard so they couldn't refuse. The guy tells Jin Sakai that Shu's here to tear down the pillars of the Earl's mansion and take their military power. Mama Jin turns to her husband, asking if they can just refuse. He tells her they can't afford to offend the Zhu family, making refusal nearly impossible. Jin Mulan considers disfiguring herself to get out of this marriage. Jin Sakai grabs the knife out of her hands, saying that his family comes first and not their family's centuries-old legacy. Wait, are we actually seeing a good dad in a manhua for once? He knows disfiguring herself won't solve the problem since the Zhu family is more interested in their family's elite troops anyway. The only solution now is arranging an immediate marriage for Jin Mulan to deter the Zhu family. Despite Jin Sakai's reluctance to sacrifice his daughter's happiness, Jin Mulan kneels down, insisting her greatest happiness is securing her family's future. After a long moment, Jin Sakai agrees to hold a suitor selection. He lists 5 candidates and tells his staff to invite them to the estate for Jin Mulan to choose from. Our boy, who's already decided Jin Mulan is his wife in his head, isn't about to let some random nobody have her. He declares his intention to join the competition for the position of son-in-law. He walks up to Jin Mulan and straight up says he wants to marry her. This infuriates Jin Sakai, who sees Shen Lang's participation as complete absurdity. I mean, can you blame him? From his perspective, some disgraced pervert just announced he wants to marry his daughter. He's about to end this fool when his wife calms him down, saying the whole town knows this guy's crazy, just let it go. Jin Sakai calms down and orders his servant to throw some gold coins at Shen Lang's face and escort him home. As they're taking him away, the hottie herself walks up to him. Her interest is piqued. She gets close and addresses them as 2 fools. Turns out he was the second fool, a nickname they earned in his village where he was part of a do known as the Foolish Pair. Jin Mulan's view of Shen Lang is like looking at a child, appreciating his innocence. She agrees to let him join the competition. Jin Sakai finds it ridiculous but lets it pass, confident Jin Mulan won't choose Shen Lang anyway. Shen Lang, however, is brimming with confidence, ready to outshine the other contenders. This guy really thinks he's got a shot. So we jump ahead 2 hours, and now we've got 6 dudes, including our boy Shen Lang, sitting in separate study rooms. Jin Mulan's running this husband selection process. She plans to pick someone by noon and be married by evening. First up is Wang Lian, Lord of Xuanwu City. This bastard's practically vibrating with excitement at the thought of winning Jin Mulan. When she asks him, "What future can you bring to the Earl's estate?" Wang Lian puffs out his chest and goes into this whole speech about passing the imperial examination, becoming a scholar, and how his brain combined with her martial badassery would lead the family to greatness. Jin Mulin's just sitting there like, cool story, bro, and basically hands him a metaphorical nice guy card before walking out. She asks the same question to the other 4 candidates and gets pretty much the same generic answers. Nothing that makes her go, wow, this is the guy. Finally, she walks into Shen Lang's room and hits him with the question. Our boy's brain immediately goes into overdrive, thinking about all the cool stuff he could do for her. He's got X-ray eyes that could treat her hidden injuries and advanced iron refining techniques. But then he realizes something important. That stuff might impress her, but it won't actually win her over. So instead, he looks her in the eye and says he can offer her freedom in their relationship. He tells her straight up, as long as she doesn't cheat, she can have all the freedom she wants. The moment he says the word cheat, Jin Mulin's face goes bright red. She turns around and starts walking out, probably cursing this idiot in her head for bringing up infidelity in a first real conversation. Like, dude, reading the room is a skill, learn it. But here's the thing, our boy calculated everything. He'd already seen through what Jin Mulin really wants. Autonomy and a husband who won't interfere with her life. That's her top priority, and he just served it up on a silver platter. Cut back to the hall where Jin Mulin announces to her parents that she's made her choice. Her father's practically bouncing with excitement, asking if it's Wang or Mo. After this dramatic pause, she told him that she chose Shen Lang. Jin Sakai's reaction is priceless. Man is absolutely furious, asking why the hell she picked the village idiot. Jin Mulin calmly explains her reason Ying. She's worried that if she marries some power-hungry dude, after her father dies, her husband might endanger her brother to grab control of everything. Only with our boy can the family legacy stay secure. Plus, the Zhu family can't threaten them if she marries someone with such a shitty reputation. And hey, all she really wanted was a handsome husband, and Shen Lang's got that going for him at least. Jin Sakai and Mother Jin understand where she's coming from, but they're absolutely heartbroken because everyone knows Shen Lang's reputation is in the gutter. Jin Mulan just bows deeply, begging them to honor her choice and let her marry him. She even spins his bad reputation as a positive if she marries the fool. Nobody will mess with their family. She's making some solid points, not gonna lie, but her parents are still not having it. Jin Sakai is feeling like the world's worst father right now, like he's sacrificing his daughter's happiness because his son couldn't step up. So he asks where Jin Mulin's brother is. When the servant tells him the brother's in his study, Jin Sakai goes, "Get me a whip." Mother Jin's eyes go wide. She asks him, "What are you planning to do with that?" But this man is in Nino Memuudi for questions. He just grabs the whip and storms off with Mother Jin chasing after him, both of them furious. In their minds, it's their son's incompetence that's forcing Jin Mulin into this situation. After a bit of traditional discipline, we cut to our boy learning he's been chosen. Shen Lang's whole demeanor changes instantly. This dude realizes he's about to become the son-in-law of mythical Turtle City's most prominent family. This new status means he's got protection against the Zhu family and everyone else who's wronged him. Man's already planning his revenge arc, but then something clicks. Shen Lang urgently tells Jin Stewart to get his family to safety ASAP because they're in serious danger. The steward recognizes that Shen Lang's about to be the Earl's son-in-law, so he immediately agrees, telling him not to worry and to go rest because he's getting married later tonight. Meanwhile, cut to the Hei Gang's gathering place, where Tenant Hum orders one of his goons to capture Shen Lang's family. The plan's simple. Once they've got the family, they'll kill him after Shen Lang hands over that formula he's been keeping. Both the legal circles and the underworld of mythical Turtle City are in complete chaos right now because of Shen Lang. Some people are preparing to celebrate his marriage, while others are literally plotting to murder his entire family. When Ting and his bandit crew roll up to Shen Lang's home, they're expecting some easy targets. Instead, they find Shen Lang's family armed and ready to throw down. These people aren't showing fear. They are fully prepared to die fighting. Ting's actually kind of impressed by the challenge and draws his sword, ready to make this interesting. But then he suddenly gets this weird feeling like someone's watching him. He spins around and sees a man standing behind him. And man, just Jin Stewart's presence is enough to make this hardened criminal's spine turn to jelly. Ting tries to play it cool, explaining their unofficial orders to punish tax evaders, and asks Jin Stewart to let him do his job. Jin Stewart's response is basically, "That's great and all, but my master ordered me to bring Shen Lang's family back safely, so I can't return empty-handed. Mind letting them go?" Ting's feeling cocky despite nearly pissing himself a second ago and asks who exactly Jin Stewart's master is. When Jin Stewart drops, "I serve the Jin family." So Ting is absolutely losing his mind right now. He's thinking, why the hell would someone this important invite these random nobodies? But then he realizes that it's got to be because of our boy Shen Lang. And honestly, regardless of why Jin Zhou is here, the moment this high-ranking dude showed up, Ting knew he was screwed. He had no choice but to let them go. After this whole mess wraps up, Jin Zhou calls for his soldiers and several warriors literally escort Shen Lang's family to their carriage. Ting's just standing there watching this unfold, getting more confused by the second. Like, inviting them was one thing, but these guys are treating Shen's parents like straight-up royalty. Once they're gone, this dude almost collapses. The other bandits catch him and they're like, "Yo, why'd you let them go? If the boss finds out we let Shen's parents walk, he's going to be mad." Ting turns to these idiots and goes, "Do you morons even know who that was?" Then he told them who Zhang Jin was. The moment they hear who Zhang Jin actually is, every single one of them starts freaking out. Ting then bolts back to report to Tian Hang at the Black Cloth Gang headquarters. At this point, this bastard's in the middle of some spicy R18 plus activities, so he is not happy to see Ting. He straight up tells him this better be life or death, or you already dead. Ting spills everything about Shen Lang's family getting rescued by Jin Zhao himself. Tian Hang's face goes dark. He immediately kicks the woman out and focuses on how royally screwed they might be for messing with Shen Lang's family. Tian Hang's sitting there stroking his chin when he hears about the Count's mansion holding this whole son-in-law competition. Ting's expression changes. A thought hits him, one so crazy even he doesn't believe it. Tian Hang's thinking the same thing. No way in hell could that fool become Jin Mulan's husband, right? But just to be safe, this paranoid bastard decides they need to go into the city and see for themselves. So not long after, in the Xu family's secret chamber, we got Xu Lian, Tian Hang, and a random bastard I forgot the name of all gathered to discuss whether there's any chance Shen Lang could actually become the son-in-law of the Count's mansion. They'd all agree it's unlikely, but just to be sure and get to the bottom of this mystery, they decide to crash the wedding ceremony. Then we cut to the Count's mansion, and man, this place is lit up like a festival. Servants are running around everywhere, decorations are insane, and among the guests we've got Su Qianqian and company, all dying to know who scored the jackpot and married Jin Mulan. At that moment, our boy is chilling a bridal carriage while firecrackers are going off like crazy. The set-in gets carried to the entrance, and the Count and his wife walk out all ceremonial-like. They announce the groom's arrival, set the carriage down, lift the curtain, and the groom steps out. The moment this figure appears, Tian Hang and the entire Su family delegation literally stop breathing. Su Qianqian's eyes go wide. She's thinking, there's no way. Why the hell is Shen Lang the groom? Our boy completely ignores all these people. His wedding's not getting ruined by these clowns. With that, the wedding ceremony begins. They then bow to the celestial worthy of heaven and earth, bowing to the high hall and the couple bowing to each other. Standard wedding stuff, you know. Just as they're about to head to the bridal chamber and wrap this up, this knockoff Monkey King Wanib starts cackling. This is Liu Waiyan, the current lord of the city. He walks up saying he knows it's against tradition to unmask before the bridal chamber, but he's just so curious about who the Earl picked. Could they please remove the mask? Before Jin Zhou can deal with this one headache, suddenly, there's an NOT-there loud laugh, and a tall figure walks in slowly, and the moment people see him, everyone at the venue, including the Count's family and all the guests, bows in respect. Turns out this person is Zhu Lin of the Yu Kingdom, the guy who pacified the South. This idiot too is curious, so he tells our boy to remove his mask. And now with Zhu Lin's support, the crowd's no longer scared and starts urging Shen Lang to unveil himself too. Our boy then looks towards Jin Zhao, who gives him a nod. So Shen Lang lifts the mask from his face, and everyone was shocked. In their wildest dreams, they never imagined the man under the mask would be the fool Shen Lang. At this moment, Tian Hang in the crowd feels a chill run through his entire body. He's realizing his trouble just magnified by about 1,000%. But the most shocked of all, Su Qianqian and Zhang Jin, but then this bastard Zhang Jin starts laughing like an absolute maniac and asks Jin Mulan if this wedding is fake. She turns to him and asks him why he thinks that. This bastard then starts running his mouth, going oh about how our boy is a good-for-nothing idiot who couldn't even learn a single word even after being in the academy for 10 years. On top of that, he was recently kicked out of the Xu family for stealing and molesting a maid. So how in the world could someone like that be Jin Mulan's husband? Just then, Jin Zhou asks this bastard if he has any PROF that our boy has a low IQ or if he is saying all this because he is jealous. And then another bastard raises his hand saying he could prove it. He claims he studied with Shen Lang and can testify that Shen Lang was indeed a fool or mentally challenged. Shen Lang recognizes the scholar Yang Xiong and has this moment of realization. It's always the familiar faces who betray you at crucial moments. Shen Lang looks at Yang Xiong and asks if he's got any actual proof that he's stupid. This idiot starts laughing and says that not being able to read a single word after 10 years is all the proof anyone needs. He says he'll write some characters for Shen Lang to read. If our boy gets them right, he'll apologize. Shen Lang's like, bet, let's do this. Yang Xiong grabs pen and paper and writes down a few characters. When Jin Mulan sees them, her jaw drops. The rest of the crowd are equally confused because literally nobody and I can read these things. Turns out this sneaky bastard wrote 3 characters that look familiar but are super easy to misread. This smug idiot's standing there all triumphant, telling Shen Lang if he can't read them, he has to admit he's brain dead right here in front of everyone. Our boy activates his cheat code and just casually starts reading them off one by one, explaining what each one means like it's nothing. He's breaking down pronunciations, origins, the whole 9 yards. Yan Xiaoling's standing there watching his whole world crumble. Turns out this fool only knew 2 pronunciations for one of the characters, and Shen Lang just dropped 4 different ones without even breaking a sweat. Shen Lang shakes his head, all disappointed, calling out Yan Xiaoling for having the audacity to test him when he doesn't even know his own material. Then he turns to Yan Xiaoling's teacher, the former lord of the city, and asks if he got everything right. After this painful silence, the old man nods. The crowd goes absolutely wild, but our boy's not done. He says it's only fair if Yang Xiong reads some characters he writes. Yan Xiong's sweating bullets but agrees because backing down now would be even worse. Shen Lang writes these characters that look normal at first, but when you put them together, nobody can figure out what they mean. He tells Yang Xiong he only needs to read 4 characters. Yang Xiong spots some familiar ones and confidently blurts out, "I am an idiot." The entire crowd loses it. People are dying laughing. Even Jin Mulan's covering her mouth trying not to crack up. This idiot just called himself a fool in front of everyone at a wedding. His teacher's face goes bright red, and he quickly dismisses Yang Xiong before this gets any worse. Now the teacher's embarrassed and wants to save face, so he decides to challenge our boy. He writes this super obscure character on paper. Jin Mulan and the crowd gather around to look, but nobody recognizes it. Except our boy, because this character is actually well known in modern times. Yang Xiong, who apparently loves getting humiliated, starts trash-talking again. Shen Lang ignores him because some clowns aren't worth acknowledging. Our boy knows the modern pronunciation is Yuan, and he also knows the ancient pronunciation might be completely different. When he realizes the old lord knows what it means but not how to say it, Shen Lang is like, "Oh, I can work with this." Yang Xiong, still running his mouth, jumps in again. Shen Lang proposes a bet. If he's right about the character, Yang Xiong slaps himself. If he's wrong, he'll slap himself. This fool Yang Xiong agrees immediately. Shen Lang points at the character and says it's pronounced Ren. Yang Xiong freaks out going, "How can anyone even verify that?" Shen Lang calmly explains it probably means something like stab or pierce. The old lord's face changes immediately. He is standing there wondering how the hell this fool knows something that scholars haven't even confirmed yet. For a second, he thinks about calling Shen Lang a liar, but he can't because other people also know the meaning. If he denies it now, he'll look like an idiot. So this bastard changes his tune and admits our boy was correct. Yan Xiong standing there completely dumbfounded. Everyone's shocked. The village fool just schooled the city's scholars like it was nothing. Our boy's knowledge impressed everyone, including Jin Mulan, who's looking at him with actual admiration now. Shen Lang's gaze turns to Yang Xiong, clearly saying, "Time to pay up, buddy." Yang Xiong shoots this resentful look at his teacher, hoping for backup, but the old man just turns away. So this fool bitterly slaps himself in front of everyone. Our boy's loving every second of this. Before taking off, this bastard told our boy that he'll take revenge for this. Jin's father, for the first time, shows some actual satisfaction toward our boy and tells him it's time to introduce Jin Mulan to his parents. But just then, Zhu calls out for Shen Lang to wait. As our boy turns toward him, Zhu points and goes, "Kid, you're quite interesting. I'll remember you." Our boy, playing dumb, bows and politely says, "Thank you for your high regard." Zhu laughs at this response, but everyone knows that laugh isn't exactly friendly. Meanwhile, our boy's parents are feeling super out of place. They're humble folk who don't want to embarrass their son, so they chose not to attend the main ceremony. They're even hesitant to wear the fancy robes the Count's mansion sent them, worried they might damage something expensive. When our boy arrives at the back hall, he immediately drops to his knees, saying, "Your son pays his respects, father and mother." Jin Mulan, without hesitation, also kneels down and says, "Your daughter-in-law pays her respects to you both." Seeing this, our boy is surprised. He is thinking how she's not putting on airs or looking down on his parents. She's genuinely respectful. Man's thinking she's beautiful inside and out. Shen's mother quickly helps Jin Mulan to her feet. After Jin pays her respects with a toast, she leaves our boy alone with his parents. After dinner, his parents don't want to overstay their welcome, so they head home in their carriage. Then we cut to the bridal chamber. Jin Mulan walks in, her face all red. Seeing this gorgeous beauty, this bastard can't help but stare. Jin Mulan's too shy to look directly at him and sits on the bed. Both of them are just sitting there awkwardly, neither knowing who should make the first move. Our boy, trying to be the man here, thinks about taking the lead, but Jin Mulan indicates she has something to say first. She reveals that she was forced into this marriage by the Zhu family and had no choice but to find a husband quickly. However, she's already considering herself a married woman and vows not to truly remarry. As for wifely duties like bearing children, Jin Mulan says she's unable to fulfill them. Our boy gets it, expecting to consummate the marriage on day one, especially with someone of Jin Mulan's status, is unrealistic. He signals his understanding and respect for her feelings. But then Jin Mulan, not wanting our boy to feel cheated and knowing the importance of producing an heir, calls for a personal maid. Our boy quickly notices the maid's attractive figure marked by her impressive assets. Jin Mulan instructs her maid to take good care of Shen Lang for the night. Our boy's internally like, "Wait, what?" But Jin Mulan shakes her head, explaining that since she can't bear children for him, it's best if he fulfills this duty with her maid to ensure a swift continuation of his lineage. This bastard doesn't waste a single second and asks the maid Little Bing to help him undress. Man, I really can't understand these Chinese MCs. Jin Mulan, hearing this, looks stunned and quickly bolts from the room. Little Bing's face turns bright red with embarrassment, but then tears start falling from her eyes. And not just a few tears, this girl starts sobbing. Our boy realizes something's wrong and asks if she's unwilling. Little Bing doesn't speak and just continues crying harder and harder. Our boy feels awkward as hell, realizing even the maid seems reluctant to be with him. Not wanting to force anything, he tells Little Bing to go sleep in the next room. She quickly leaves and our boy just decides to go to sleep. No fun for this bastard tonight. The next day, Jin Mulan prepares some gifts for our boy to take home and asks if he has any goals or ambitions he wants to share. Shen Lang initially says he has no particular goals, but seeing Jin Mulan's dissatisfied look, he quickly states he has a major goal: destroy the Su family and make Su Qianqin kneel before him begging for mercy. Jin Mulan looks at him all surprised. This is more about revenge than an actual life goal. She points out how difficult targeting the Su and Zhang families would be since they're backed by the powerful Zhu family, and the Count's mansion has its limitations. Our boy then asks if he can at least target Tian Hang, but Jin Mulan explains that Tian Hang is a military officer of mythical Turtle City who recently aligned with the Zhang family. Touching him would provoke a conflict with the city's leadership. Our boy's getting frustrated by all these constraints. Finally, he asks if he can at least use his identity as the son-in-law to slap Ting Hang in the face. When she says that's something he can do, our boy's like, bet, and takes off immediately. Before anyone could even ask where the hell this dude thinks he's going, our boy had already dipped. But not before stopping by his father-in-law's place to pay his respects. When they asked about his plans, our boy played it smooth, completely dodging the whole "I'm about to ruin some lives" angle, and instead going with the classic "gonna serve my parents." Jin Mulan's folks ate that up, thinking he's this stable, responsible guy. They were so impressed they loaded him up with gifts. Our boy thanked them and headed out looking all fancy with 2 soldiers as escorts. He initially planned to roll up in a carriage, but then he spots this majestic white horse and thinks, you know what? I'm going to ride that and make a grand entrance. Cut to 2 minutes later, and this dude can't even figure out how to mount the damn horse. So yeah, back to the carriage it is. When our boy's carriage pulls up to Black Cloth Gang territory, the guards are ready with their bows drawn. But someone stops them, like, yo idiots, that's from the Count's mansion. As our boy steps out, he greets Tian Hang with this big smile. Tian Hang puts on this welcoming act, arms wide open, big smile, but you just know this bastard is seething on the inside. Our boy immediately starts trolling him, asking why he didn't arrest him yet. Tian Hang politely invites him inside and even makes tea for him. Tian Hang asks what brings our boy here, and our boy casually says that he is here for that 1,000 coin debt. Tian Hang laughs, pulls out the debt acknowledgement, and just burns it right there in the fire, saying he forgot all about it. But then our boy flips the script and goes, actually, you owe me 1,000 gold coins. Why'd you burn the acknowledgement? Tian Hang just freezes. This man has been running schemes for years, and he's never met someone this shameless. Like, the audacity is off the charts. So now Tian Hang has to play along because what else can he do? He forces a smile and orders his guys to bring the 1,000 gold coins. Our boy checks them briefly, then casually suggests that since they're acquaintances, maybe they can waive the interest. Tian Hang catches the hint this is clearly a threat, so he grudgingly coughs up another 100 gold coins as interest. Our boy just sips his tea like he didn't just extort this man in broad daylight. Tian Hang asks if there's anything else, and our boy goes, yeah, where's Ting? Our boy then says how Ting tried to arrest his parents, so naturally our boy's planning to break his legs. Tian Hang is visibly shaken and pissed, but he keeps it together and says that Ting isn't around and won't be back for 2 months. Our boy doesn't fully buy it, but decides not to push his luck and leaves. The moment our boy's gone, Tian Hang loses it, smashes the teacups and orders his men to burn the chair our boy sat in. Ting comes out from wherever he was hiding, trying to calm this bastard down by saying our boy's arrogance will catch up to him eventually. Tian Hang is furious about how this nobody turned into somebody so fast and tells Ting to stay hidden, but our boy walks right back in. He's like, well, you returned fast. Were you traveling at the speed of light or something? Then he lists everything Ting did, trying to arrest his parents, breaking into his house, all of it, and says breaking Ting's legs is justified punishment for nearly destroying his family. Then he looks at Tian Hang like, so are you going to do it or what? Tian Hang's eyes are literally red with anger. He's in a tough spot because Ting is his foster son and beating him would be like humiliating himself. Plus, he invested like 2/3 of his family's wealth backing the Zhang family. So he does the classic villain thing, slams his hand on the table and tells our boy that now he is pushing his limits. The 2 soldiers from the Count's mansion immediately draw their swords to protect our boy. Our boy then asks this bastard if he thought about going too far when he threatened his family. Tian Hang laughs and brings up the Count's mansion's whole love the people like your own children principle, warning our boy about tyranny and karma. Our boy's not interested in this philosophical debate and looks at the soldiers, but they're just bodyguards, they're not getting involved in this drama. Tian Hang tells our boy to be forgiving and let grudges go. Our boy, realizing he's not going to force Tian Hang's hand today, makes a vow. Tomorrow, he's making Tian Hang break Ting's legs himself and apologize in person. After leaving Tian Hang's place, Shen Lang returns home and distributes the gifts from Jin Mulan's parents to his family. He gives his father some gold coins to build a new house. He promises his brother, once he's recovered from his injury, a better future, an opportunity to prove himself. His brother then casually tells our boy that once he gets fit, he wants to marry that widow. Just like that, the day passes and our boy is ready to return. As he was about to leave, his mom stopped him and told him to check on Dasha. The last time she heard, things weren't looking good for him. Now Dasha is literally our boy's only friend from back in the day. This dude was kind-hearted, simple, honest, and an idiot like our boy. But whenever our boy got bullied as a kid, Dasha would literally use his own body as a shield Despite having some mental challenges, Dasha was built like a tank, which made him useful for heavy labor. That's the only reason his stepmother didn't kick him out. She just mistreated him instead. Our boy decides to check on him because he's concerned. When he gets to Dasha's house, he only finds the stepmother and younger brother. The stepmother says Dasha's out working, which is weird because his mom literally just told him Dasha was in trouble. Something's not adding up. Our boy hands over a bag of silver coins for Dasha's meals, and the stepmother's eyes light up. She promises Dasha will be well fed. But then Dasha's little brother looks at our boy and tells him that Dasha might not actually get to eat. Our boy wanted to beat the hell out of these two right then and there, but he immediately left to find him. And what he finds is absolutely horrifying. Dasha's in critical condition, covered in blood, looking like a skeleton with severe chest injuries. Our boy checks for a pulse and thank God he's still alive. When Dasha wakes up, he's actually happy to see our boy. Turns out his younger brother, the little shit, got into some mischief that led to a tiger encounter. Dasha saved him but got his bones broken in the process. And their father couldn't afford treatment, so he just left Dasha to die. That bastard left this poor thing in the jungle to rot for over 6 days without food or water. Our boy is absolutely furious to know that scum of a family is treating Dasha like garbage when he literally saved the ungrateful brother's life. And even in his dying breath, this big idiot is just relieved that our boy became strong and doesn't need his protection anymore. Our boy, trying to give him hope, says he still gets bullied. And Dasha, even in this state, reflexively tries to protect him. Man, the loyalty is unreal. After reassuring Dasha he's safe, our boy wanted nothing more than to go to his house, beat the hell out of his parents, and make them regret everything and realize Dasha's worth. Dasha nods and thinks I'm still useful. Father's getting old and needs me to provide for him. Our boy is just speechless at this point. Like, this pure soul has been left to rot and he still thinks his dad needs him. He orders his guards to carry Dasha to the carriage. But first it's revenge time. Our boy storms back to Dasha's house and asks them if they have any conscience. The stepmother's all casual about it, saying they didn't have money for treatment. And that absolute waste of oxygen goes, it doesn't matter if a fool like Dasha dies. Our boy doesn't say a word, just flips their entire table in rage and kicks the brother hard in the lower abdomen, so hard this dude's rolling on the ground in agony. He casually says your pain is no thing compared to what Dasha suffered. The stepmother freaks out, yelling about his audacity and insulting him, calling him a worthless son-in-law only fit to die alongside Dasha. Our boy pushes her away because he won't hit a woman and she falls into a water basin. She threatens to complain to the Count's mansion, but our boy calmly tells her he's not with the Su family anymore, so go ahead and try. Then he just leaves with his guards. He rushes back to the Count's mansion with Dasha. Jin Chang, this guy who's the chief of internal guards and also a former candidate for son-in-law, stops him. He sees Dasha's critical state and angrily questions our boy's authority to bring a stranger into the mansion and orders him thrown out. Our boy stops the guards and tells Jin Chang that this stranger is his friend and tells him that he was critically injured and needs treatment now. The guards are frozen, not knowing who to listen to. Jin Chang, after losing to our boy, wanted nothing but to rub his authority in his face, so he didn't allow him entry, and our boy realized his position in the mansion is pretty weak. He's basically alone here. So fine, he'll take Dasha to the city for treatment himself. As he climbs back onto the carriage, Jin Chang watches with this smug, satisfied look. But then Jin Sakai and Jin Mulan come out to see what all the commotion is about. Jin Chang reports what happened, and when Jin Sakai hears that our boy's friend is dying, he immediately orders a doctor to treat Dasha. Jin Mulan personally takes control of the carriage and apologizes to our boy for the inconvenience, showing her full support. Our boy genuinely feels touched by his wife's support. He's realizing he's not completely alone in this mansion after all. But Jin Chang, still salty about the whole situation, tries to intervene again. Jin Mulan just gives him this ice-cold stare, pulls out a whip without saying a word, and in the most chilling voice tells him to turn his back. Jin Chang wants to say something, probably about to make excuses, but one look at her expression, and he just turns around. Jin Mulan doesn't hesitate. She whips him so hard it tears through his leather armor and leaves this bloody mark. She warns him that our boy is her husband, making him Jin Chang's master, and he better correct his attitude. Then this bastard is saying that he learned his lesson. After the doctor finishes treating Dasha, it's confirmed that Dasha's out of danger and will make it out alive. Jin Mulan's all happy and playfully calls Dasha our boy's big brother. Our boy gets a bit embarrassed and tries to clarify, but Jin Mulan smiles and goes, "Aren't the two fools and Dasha and second fool just ways of referring to brothers?" Our boy's internally like, "You're a 36E. Whatever you say is right." But the wholesome moment gets interrupted. After that, Jin Sakai summons our boy to his study. Our boy's expecting they're going to talk about Dasha, so he's ready to defend bringing him there and explain how important their friendship is. But no P. Jin Sakai is absolutely furious about the Tian Hang situation. He's accusing our boy of abusing his position, extorting gold coins, and planning to harm Tian Hang's foster son. Our boy responds by thanking Jin Sakai for saving his family's lives, which confuses the Count for a second. Then our boy lays out the entire situation, everything Tian Hang did. The threats, the attempts to arrest his parents, all of it. Jin Sakai goes from angry to absolutely livid, but now the anger is directed at Tian Hang. He vows to see justice for our boy, saying nobody gets to bully his son-in-law and says that he'll punish him. Despite Jin Sakai offering to handle Tian Hang himself, our boy insists on taking care of that bastard personally. He says not showing up would damage both his reputation and the Count's mansion's reputation. He promises to handle it without giving anyone ammunition to criticize them. Jin Sakai, testing our boy's commitment, pulls out this massive book, the Jin Family Code. He says our boy can only go confront Tian Hang after memorizing the entire thing. We're talking 50,000 to 60,000 words across several hundred pages. It's basically a novel. Our boy confidently accepts, because remember, this dude has a mental computer. He's going to speedrun this book like it's nothing. Meanwhile, Jin Sakai and Mother Jin are discussing this task. Jin Sakai thinks it'll take our boy a couple months to memorize it, which would be good because it gives him time to calm down and reflect. Mother Jin bets he'll do it in just a month. Then she gets all close to his face and says, "Wanna bet?" And after a lovey-dovey night, we cut to the next day. Mother Jin prepares a nourishing meal for our boy, expecting him to be up late studying. But when does she check? He's already asleep. She's frustrated, thinking how he's even lazier than her own son. Then she tells everything to Jin Sakai, and man, he is furious. He immediately calls our boy, and as he walks in, he immediately asks the servant to bring the whip. Man, these people do not hesitate with the whip, do they? He's ready to discipline our boy for slacking off. Our boy calmly says he already memorized the entire family code overnight. Jin Sakai is like, yeah, right. Bring the whip? This kid's lying to me. He's fully prepared to have our boy punished. Mother Jin tries to calm him down, saying how his skin is delicate and tells our boy to just apologize and calm things down. But our boy, he's like, nah, I'm serious. Test me if you want. Jin Sakai, fueled by frustration and probably thinking this kid's got some nerve, starts quizzing him on various chapters. Random sections, specific passages, whatever he can think of to catch our boy slipping. And our boy recites EVRVTing flawlessly, word for word. Jin Sakai is absolutely stunned. This extraordinary memory and intellect just blew their minds. Mother Jin's over there all smug, reminding Jin Sakai about their wager. The way he's getting all shy, I'm sure it's something unusual. Now he has no choice but to accept that our boy really learned this whole book in one damn night. Before leaving our boy alone with Jin Sakai, Mother Jin mischievously takes the whip with her. She's got plans to teach her son Lin Mu a lesson. And let me tell you, poor Lin Mu is about to get some discipline. But it's definitely not going to be the fun kind. Actually, wait, depending on your perspective, you know what? Never mind, moving on. Jin Sakai, still processing what just happened, asks our boy how he pulled off this incredible feat. Our boy casually drops that after recovering from a serious illness, his mind just became exceptionally sharp. He can remember everything he reads now. Jin Sakai actually believes him because apparently there's some historical figure in their family who had a similar glow-up after a near-death experience. So this tracks for him. Acknowledging our boy's accomplishment, Jin Sakai lifts the confinement order. Our boy's ready to go handle Tian Hang, as he was thinking of ways to take care of him. Jin Sakai told him to forget about his matter for a while. He explains there's this new rule established by the kingdom that nobility shouldn't interfere with official government positions. Over the past 3 years, 3 noble families got stripped of their lands and titles for breaking this rule. The consequences are serious, but our boy refuses. He says within half a year, he'll take his revenge. He believes handling his own battles is a prerequisite to being worthy of Jin Mulan. Jin Sakai appreciates the resolve but warns him about the difficulties. Tian Hang has backing from both the city lord's office and the Jiang family. That's a lot of powerful friends, but nah, our boy doesn't care. He tells the Count that he'll take revenge within the bounds of the law, making sure not to leave any loopholes that could be exploited. And his plan? It's beautifully simple. He's going to target Tian Hang's gambling houses, which have a monopoly in mythical Turtle City, and keep winning gold coins until it exceeds Tian Hang's limits. This will hurt him financially and potentially destabilize his standing with his supporters. So our boy arrives at one of Tian Hang's gambling houses and gets greeted by Tian Shiju. This bastard is sure that our boy is here to gamble, and given his skills, he is confident that he can make him lose thousands. Thinking about this, he can't stop smiling. His joy only grows when our boy shows up, owes you any gold coins, and asks for a loan to gamble. Our boy starts by borrowing 1,000 gold coins, converts them into chips, and goes for a simple dice game. You bet on whether the roll is low or high. Our boy confidently places all his chips on high for his first bet. The crowd and the beautiful dealer are excited. When the dice reveal 10 points, our boy wins and doubles his chips to 2,000. This bastard was freaking out about how our boy won 1,000 coins like it's nothing, but to him, it was an initial bait to lure him in. The dice rolls again, and our boy once again bets all his winnings again on high, and wins again. Now he's got 4,000 gold coins. Tian Shiju, this bastard, has now started freaking out because even on a good month, the casino can only make about 2,000 gold coins, so they have already lost too much, so he steps in to personally handle the dice. And the reason this bastard is so confident that he can stop our boy is because Tian Shiju is a master of dice manipulation and a trusted confidant of Tian Hang. He can control the dice to roll high or low and even change the numbers after they land. But our boy realizes what this fool is up to, so he says that he has grown tired of playing dice and would now want to play Pai Gao, a card game similar to dice, betting on high or low outcomes, but with tons of opportunities for cheating like marking cards. After hearing that, this bastard can't stop grinning, thinking this is his chance to defeat our boy. But our boy insists on using a new deck of cards because he is very well aware of the tricks these cheating bastards could pull. Once our boy inspects the new deck and confirms it's unmarked, the game begins. With his X-ray vision, this game too is not a big deal for our boy. Tian Shiju draws a strong hand so our boy knows about it, so without even glancing at his own cards, he once again bets 1,000 gold coins confidently. Everyone standing there is thinking about how our boy is an absolute madman betting such an amount that one could live like a king in one game, but Tian Shiju still hasn't given up and matches the bet. When the cards are revealed, our boy wins, and the shock on Tian Shiju's face is priceless. But this was just the beginning of Tian Shiju's nightmare. Round after round, our boy continues his strategy of not looking at his cards and betting 1,000 gold coins each time. And he wins every time, so the crowd starts calling him the god of gamblers. Over here, Tian Shiju's completely freaking out. He's lost more than 10,000 gold coins to our boy. It's such a big amount that he is sure that Tan Hang would kill him. Now this bastard doesn't have the guts to continue, so he calls it a day and steps outside. Meanwhile, over at the Su family mansion, Tian Hang and the Su family head are all smiles, waiting for our boy to crash and burn. They're sure he's going to drown in gambling debt any minute now. But their little celebration dies fast when a panicked Tian Shiju bursts in. The vibe instantly shifts. Tian Hang, already pissed at how nervous he looks, snaps at him and demands to know how much our boy lost. He's expecting something like 10,000 gold coins, enough to ruin the Count's mansion and kick our boy straight out. While these idiots are fantasizing about what they'll do to our boy when that happens. While this poor bastard was on the ground, they're freaking out trying to gather the courage to tell them that our boy didn't lose. You go on. 16,000 gold coins. Tian Hang's laugh freezes midair. He stares at Tian Shiju like he just heard the dumbest joke ever and asks again, and Tian Shiju tells him the whole story. As he said that, the whole room went dead quiet. Tian Hang grabs him by the collar, yelling about how the hell our boy managed to win an amount that equals his entire yearly income. He starts wondering if the guy cheated or pulled some trick. But Tian Shiju's bawling now, saying it was a clean win. Tian Hang shoves him aside and turns to the Su family head like, "Didn't you say that guy's a total loser? Since when did he turn into a monster?" The Su family head's just as confused, with no clue what's going on. That's when Su Qianqian steps in and says getting mad won't help, they should go see it themselves. Tian Hang shoots up right away, ready to storm out. Su Qianqian reminds him not to forget his backup, the city lord and the prefect's mansion. Tian Hang nods and rushes out toward Fortune Casino. As he got there, he saw a whole crowd. One of them turned and noticed the entire crowd, then turned and demanded money from him, as he was trying to figure out what the hell was happening. Our boy steps out of the crowd and tells him that he won 19,000 gold coins and would like his money now. Tian turns and looks at that poor bastard and asks, "What's this 19,000 he is talking about? Didn't you say it was 16,000? Our boy filled him in on the details, telling him that in the meantime, he won an additional 3,000 gold coins and these guys bet with him, and won, so in total Tian had to pay 26,000 gold coins. When Tian Hang hears it's now 26,000 gold coins, this bastard almost has a heart attack because that's almost half of his savings, and our boy just casually brought him near bankruptcy. Because yeah, Tian Hang makes a fortune every day, but he's also got hundreds of people under him to support. Losing 26,000 gold coins would legitimately bankrupt him. So as not to lose face in front of the public, he asked our boy to come inside and have a chat. Our boy agrees, but the gamblers, they're not having it. They are screaming, "You can't leave. You can't leave. Cash in the gold coins before leaving." They're worried our boy and Tian Hang are going to strike some shady deal behind closed doors and betray them. Our boy loudly assures them that they'll get their money. Now, regardless of his previous reputation as a fool, our boy was now the Count's son-in-law. Plus, these ungrateful bastards had that money because of him, so everyone chooses to believe him. They arrive at the second floor of Fortune Casino, and Tian Hang's smile immediately vanishes. His face turns cold as he looks at our boy. He says how our boy is using cheap tricks now, and he asks him if he is doing all this just to make me break Tian Shizen's legs. He says that if he thinks that the Count will protect him, then that's not going to happen, because he's only been the son-in-law for a few days and has done something that no member of the Jin family had done in a century. He then asks him if he's not afraid of tarnishing the Count's mansion's reputation. Our boy hits him with some philosophical wisdom, saying that the reputation of the Count's mansion is indeed important, but my reputation? That can be disregarded. He hits him with that trashy Chinese monologue, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Just know it. Basically, it meant that he's saying his reputation's already trash, so he's got nothing to lose. This instantly chokes Tian. Hang up. He stops making pointless arguments. But then this bastard told our boy that he can forget about his 19,000 gold coins because he's not even going to get 1,900 even if he begs him, and the thing about breaking Tian Shizen's leg, that's also not going to happen because giving him money meant one thing because he can earn it back, but if he loses his reputation, it's gone. He can never have it back. Our boy just laughed and told him that he got it all wrong. He didn't want the 19,000 gold coins. He wanted both the 19,000 gold coins and wanted him to break Tian Shizen's legs. This pissed off this bastard, and he told our boy that he'll never give him even a single gold coin. And then he just casually walks to the window, opens it, and tells the gamblers that their gold coins will be fully redeemed. The gamblers immediately cheer for Tian Hang. This breaks our boy's method of using the gamblers' power against him. Plus, Tian Hang knows those gamblers will eventually lose the money back anyway. A gambler's money is never won for long. He looks at our boy smugly, thinking he won. Our boy claps hard. What a move. Then he questions Tian Hang. Did you forget you have other casinos? As long as they're open, I can keep winning, and I'll bring all the gamblers with me to win. He turns and shouts to the gamblers outside, don't leave. I'll continue to lead you to win money. Then we cut to some time later and our boy continues his winning streak and the gamblers go completely wild because it's easier than picking up money. As long as they follow our boy, they're guaranteed to win. And our boy doesn't win alone. He made sure hundreds of people accompanied him and gambled with him. Before long, Tian Hang loses another 7,000 gold coins. The kicker? Our boy bets only 1 gold coin each time. The rest is won by the gamblers. Seeing this, his adopted son Chan She rushes downstairs to drive our boy out. But our boy immediately switches to acting mode, pretending to be frail, and asks him, what are you going to do? Do you want to hit me? My health is not good, you know, I'll fall down with just a touch. Who dares to strike the Count's son-in-law? My wife will kill his entire family. This shameless act completely infuriates Tian Shu, who points at our boy's head and screams, so what if I do take action? And then orders his guards to throw our boy out. But then the guards surround and protect our boy. And countless gamblers also rush over, forming a protective circle around him, shouting, whoever dares to touch Shen Lang will have to step over our dead bodies. Tian Shi is dumbfounded, unsure what to do next. At that moment, Tian Hang appears and directly announces they're closing for the day and tells everyone to come back tomorrow to cash in their winnings. And these guys are getting furious, saying, how can they just close the casino when they are losing? Before they could lose their mind about it, our boy just casually suggested that they should go to the other casinos that Tian Hang owns. This bastard then told Tian Shi to go to the other casinos and order them to close for the day. Tian Hang can only announce all other casinos are also temporarily closed. Who knows how much pain Tian Hang felt making this decision? Because these 5 casinos account for more than 60% of his daily income. Now that they're all closed, the daily losses are astronomical. Tian Hang regrets not having dealt with our boy permanently before. But little did this bastard know that at that time our boy was going to be the least of his worries. Because those 5 gambling houses amounted to 60% of his income, and with these casinos shutting down operations, his income took a massive hit. And just when things couldn't get worse, a deadly strike comes at him from another angle. A messenger arrives and tells him that Zhang has called for him. He goes to the Aksu's house and sees their family head there. The guy asks if what he heard is true. Tian Hang nods, confirming that yes, he's closing his gambling houses. Now here's the thing. Shutting down the gambling house is way more problematic than just the money issue. Previously, in search of protection, he agreed to give 35% of his income to the Zhang family. And the Su family, acting as agents for the Zhangs, is now demanding Tian Hang agree to our boy's terms, and Tian Hang didn't like that at all. He told him that Tian Shizhen is one of my most outstanding adopted sons. Breaking his legs would dishearten my men and ruin my reputation. But then a voice comes from next door ordering him to agree to it regardless. It's Zhang Sei. He continues and tells him not to delay it because every day you delay, you're losing money. Better to agree sooner than later. I promise you, one day we'll kill Shen Lang and then you can take your revenge. Shen Lang is just a small fry. Our real target is the Count's mansion. Once we take down the Count's mansion and reclaim its lands and military power, the position of Deputy Lord will be yours, Tian Hang. After thinking about it for a long time, he eventually agrees. Soon after, Tian Hang returns to the casino and tells us that he is ready to accept his condition and agrees to publicly break Tian Shizhen's legs and tells him to stop causing trouble. But nah, our boy isn't going to let this bastard have his way, so our boy goes. The conditions have changed. Your other adopted son, Tian Shi, yelled at me, wanting to hit me, pointing at my head with his finger. So his arms and legs need to be broken too. Hearing our boy's words, Tian Hang feels a surge of blood rush to his brain. Seeing Tian Hang not speaking, our boy states, if you don't agree, I'll change the conditions again. Then it will be breaking the legs of everyone who has ever visited my house. Tian Hang can no longer restrain himself. In his mind, he charges at our boy, instantly grabbing him forcefully, one hand on his head, the other on his waist, and directly tearing our boy in half. Then Tian Hang laughs maniacally in his frenzy. However, all this is just Tian Hang's imagination. The man's literally fantasizing about murder right now. He doesn't want to compromise, but he has no choice. Tian Hang looks at our boy for a long time before agreeing. He agreed to his demands to break Tian Shizhen's legs and Tian Shi's arms and legs in public, but Tian Hang still underestimated our boy's ruthlessness. Our boy goes, not only that, but you must also completely expel them from the Black Clothes gang. They are not to be visited, left to fend for themselves. If they are not miserable enough by then, I will come to trouble you again. Tian Hang collapses, holding his head in his hands. Boy, he is angry, but now he was too deep into it, so he just screamed, telling our boy that he accepts all of his conditions. Then we cut to some time later at the entrance of Fortune Casino. Tian Shizhen and Tian Shi are tied up for public viewing, and this bastard Tian Hang is putting on a whole performance. He gets close to both of his sons and tries delivering this emotional speech about how he loves them and how they were his favorite. But he can't help the situation, but none of them wants to hear anything from the backstabbing bastard anymore. So he turns to the public and puts on that public act about how his two sons harbored personal grudges against our boy and acted behind his back for revenge and nearly caused a great disaster, saying how Master Shenlang is not only the son-in-law of the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, but also a close friend of his, and they acted against him. And because of that, he had to punish them. He added that if I do not punish severely, how can I uphold family discipline? Then he ordered his servant to hand him the stick, and the guys walked out with a thick, hard stick. The next moment, Tian Hang raises the stick and fiercely smashes it down on his legs so that Tian Shizen's legs are broken. From start to finish, Tian Shizen just lets out a low grunt without screaming in agony. And seeing this, the public is completely surprised. Tian Hang then turns to Tian Shi. He picks up the stick and ruthlessly smashes it down on Tian Shi's legs. Then, with another fierce strike, Tian Shi's arms are brutally broken. And this bastard was a lot more expressive than Tian Shizen. He started screaming loudly and fainted moments after as he was not able to bear the pain. The faces of everyone around twitch, especially the warriors of the Black Clothes Gang. Tian Hang's other adopted sons feel a chill run down their spines. It's a case of one's misfortune affecting others. How loyal Tian Shizen and Tian Shi had been, and yet at the first sign of trouble, they were the first to be sacrificed. They all can't help but wonder if they'll be next. From then on, Tian Hang's prestige greatly diminishes. He's lost the hearts of the Black Clothes Gang. After breaking the legs of his two adopted sons, Tian Hang asks our boy, "Are you satisfied now?" Our boy gives this wicked smile. "I am satisfied, but there are still some loose ends to tie up." Tian Hang's face drastically changes, and he tells our boy that he's now pushing his luck. But nah, our boy doesn't care. He tells Tian Hang that he's not asking for much since Tian Hang still owes him 19,000 gold coins. As our boy said, Tian's mind immediately started thinking about how he has already lost tens of thousands of gold coins because of our boy. So where the hell is he supposed to find more money to give our boy now? And just because our boy is a professional gaslighter, he goes, "How about this? You first give me 2,000 gold coins, and for the remaining 17,000, write an IOU. How about that?" As our boy said, this bastard was fuming red because 2,000 gold coins are already the last of Fortune Casino's cash flow. And our boy is not giving him time to think. He immediately threatens him, saying either give him money or otherwise, one day his legs might unintentionally walk into the casino again. And starts throwing the tantrum, saying how it's getting late and how his wife must really be getting anxious at home and how the food will not taste good once it's cold. These words completely break Tian Hang's last nerve. He picks up a stick, unable to bear it any longer, and swings it fiercely at our boy, aiming to crush his head. However, in reality, this is all just in Tian Hang's imagination. Again, this man needs therapy. Then one of his adopted sons hands him a note. Tian Hang sees the note's content. Agree to what Shenlang said. Give him the money. The Count's family is strict. They will not tolerate the dirty money won from the casino. The Count will deal with him in time. Tian Hang looks towards the second floor, understanding it's an order from Zhang Jin. Furious, Tian Hang snaps the stick in his hand. Gritting his teeth, he agrees to our boy's demand and orders his adopted son to bring out the gold coins. Moments later, 2 boxes of gold coins and an IOU are placed before our boy. But everyone knows the IOU is unlikely to be repaid. Our boy takes the IOU, glances at it, then opens the boxes filled with gold coins. The dazzling golden light almost blinds everyone around. As long as our boy takes this money, the more triumphant he is now, the worse it will be when he returns to the Count's mansion. This will irreversibly damage the Count's mansion's reputation, so he turns this whole matter of the casino into a moral issue, saying how since you opened this casino, how many people have been ruined, their families torn apart, and then this greedy bastard had to do the thing that was probably most difficult for him. He turned to the public and started going on and on about how he doesn't care about the money and thinks of it as nothing more than dirt, and saying how he hadn't come to the casino to win money but to see justice for everyone. My father-in-law, the Count, has always said to love the people as one's children. Saying this, our boy grabs a handful of gold coins and scatters them towards the surrounding crowd. All will be given back to the people. Immediately, the crowd goes absolutely wild, scrambling for the gold coins our boy had thrown. Tian Hang watches the scene, his eyes nearly popping out. The man is truly about to explode. Not only did our boy force him to break his adopted son's legs, but he also used his money to win over the hearts of the people. This is not only an insult to his character, but also an insult to his intelligence. Tian Hang is already holding back frustration, and at this point, he can no longer bear it. He directly vomits blood from anger. Meanwhile, inside the casino, Zhang Jin witnesses the scene and is somewhat surprised by our boy's tactics. But the next moment, he curls his lips into a smile and turns to Mayor Liu and says, with the situation now so chaotic, "Isn't it especially easy for Shenlang to suffer a sudden misfortune?" This ugly bastard clearly understands what Zhang Jin wanted to say. With the crowd fighting over the gold coins below, if a stampede occurs, it wouldn't be traced back to them. And if our boy accidentally gets trampled, it would seem like an accident. Plus, they'll get to blame the Count's mansion for this mishap since it was because of our boy that the stampede happened. Mayor Liu says that if it's a stampede, it's normal for many people to die. Dozens, even hundreds. By then, Shen Lang and the Count's mansion would both be hard-pressed to escape blame. Jiang Jin is shocked by Mayor Lu's ruthlessness, but what's a few deaths as long as they achieve their goals? Outside, thousands of people are still cheering, shouting, "Long live Shen Lang." However, in the chaos, people arranged by Jiang Jin silently merge into the crowd. Once they get close to our boy, they plan to first push away the 4 guards around him, then knock our boy to the ground and cause a major disturbance. Our boy senses the danger immediately. With his keen mind, he can clearly remember many faces, and those he focuses on had appeared at his wedding. Obviously not Tian Hang's men. Our boy quickly guesses their intentions, so he claps his hands forcefully and shouts, "Quiet!" Everyone stops moving. The crowd immediately silences as they look toward him. Our boy, holding an empty box, announces all his gold coins have been distributed. However, those few people arranged by Jiang Jin are still shouting to grab the gold coins, but those bastards that Mayor planted shouted that our boy could still distribute some more. Hearing that, our boy just smiles, and in the next moment, our boy takes out the IOU and goes, "I also do not want the 17,000 gold coins. This is all your hard-earned money, so I will hand over this IOU to the mayor, letting the mayor recover the debt for you to be used entirely for aiding the poor families of mythical Turtle City." Instantly, the crowd erupts in cheers. Seeing those few men still pretending to be part of the crowd and pushing towards him, our boy immediately runs towards the 2nd floor of Fortune Casino. He had used his X-ray vision earlier to see Mayor Lu was upstairs. At the same time, Mayor Lu upstairs is shocked. Our boy is actually dragging him into this. Just as he thinks of escaping through the back door, our boy has already reached the 2nd floor. He grabs Mayor Lu and brings him to the window, calling the countless people outside to look their way. In that instant, the few men outside cease their actions, daring not to cause any more disturbances. Then our boy hands the IOU to Mayor Lu in front of all those people and says that he may be a humble status, but the mayor, as the leader of this city, if he were to stand up to recover the debt for the countless poor, surely Tian Hang, that bastard, would not dare to default upon it. Man, our boy is really toying with these bastards now, because hearing this, Mayor Lu is completely stunned. The IOU was originally just a piece of waste paper, and now he's actually expected to repay the debt. At this moment, Mayor Lu feels that our boy is a venomous snake that devours men without owing anything. If he refuses to take the IOU, his reputation will be completely ruined, so he just puts on a smile, assuring our boy that he will certainly not fail his trust. With that, our boy turns to the people below, says some sweet words, and then takes his leave. Meanwhile, at the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, Jin Sakai paces back and forth repeatedly, asking his servants if our boy has returned yet. He's worried about our boy's safety. After all, Tian Hang has the cunning Mayor Lu and the ruthless Jiang Jin behind him. Mother Jin told Jin Sakai not to worry too much, saying that Shen Lang had them and the Count's mansion backing him so that bastard Tian Hang wouldn't dare to go too far. At that moment, a servant returns with news. Jin Sakai asks, "How did it go? How much did Shen Lang lose? Did Tian Hang lay a hand on him?" Jin Hui reports to him that nothing of that sort happened. Instead, our boy bankrupted Tian Hang and even forced him to break the legs of Tian Shizhen and Tian Shui in public. Upon hearing this, both Mama Jin and Jin Sakai are shocked. They couldn't believe how our boy, just one person, managed to deal with Tian Hang alone. The Count then ordered Jin Hui to come to his chamber and tell him the whole report, and he did. He told him everything that happened, including our boy's tactical wit and ability to turn situations around. Jin Sakai is amazed by our boy's actions and relieved that he maintained the reputation of their Count's mansion. However, he still wants to beat our boy up because today's situation, although our boy won, was too risky. Anything could happen, so he decides to discipline our boy a bit, fearing he'll become even more reckless in the future. Then we cut to some time after it's almost nighttime, and our boy returns to the mansion sneakily and looks around and sees that there is no one there, so he thinks that he was saved, but Jin Sakai has been waiting for a long time, and as he enters, he addresses him, saying that the gambling god is back. Our boy is instantly taken aback. "Father-in-law, you, a dignified count, actually hid behind the door to ambush me." Regardless, our boy quickly admits his fault, and Jin Sakai begins to loudly scold him. However, before he can say much, our boy bows again in apology, mainly acting obedient. Clearly, Jin Sakai doesn't want to let our boy off so easily, but our boy keeps admitting his mistakes, so Jin Sakai really didn't have much to say after that. At that moment, Mother Jin comes up to mediate, saying how our boy's intentions were good. Then, pretending to be angry, she says, "Shen Lang, you must not go to casinos anymore, or I will have to punish you." After saying this, she shows concern for our boy and asks him if he is hungry. Jin Sakai is speechless. "Is that it? You're usually quite strict with your own son, quick to discipline. Why do you soften up with your son-in-law?" Annoyed and unable to let it go, Jin Sakai grabs our boy's hand, telling him, "Starting today, you are grounded again. You can move around inside the mansion, but you are not to step outside the Count's mansion." Our boy is taken aback and then asks, "What condition do I need to meet to be allowed out?" Jin Sakai says flatly, "None. When you've learned to behave and improve yourself, then you'll be released." Our boy is stunned again. Didn't expect that just one day out, though it was a spectacular day, would result in being confined again. Jin Sakai is actually doing it for our boy's own good. In case Tian Hang and his group really take drastic actions, it would be too late to protect him then. So deciding to be thorough, Jin Sakai orders everyone to keep an eye on Shen Lang. Everyone responds in unison. Our boy really feels like crying now. Today, the man was on a roll, dominating, only to come home and be put in solitary. Seeing our boy sulking, this old bastard is happy, but Jinsakai still feels something is missing. Then we cut to some time after, and the Count's son is having his daily sessions with the whip, and the funny thing is that he doesn't even know why he is getting so much love. Well, we know it's all because our boy's clever and outstanding performance makes their own son seem even more foolish by comparison. On the other hand, when our boy returns to the courtyard, he finds Jin Mulan wearing a suit of armor. Curious, our boy asks Jin Mulan, "Why are you wearing armor at home?" The answer he gets is that Jin Mulan was afraid something would happen to our boy and was ready to lead troops into the city to rescue him. Our boy is surprised at this and also feels warmed by it. He decides to help Jin Mulan remove the armor before they go eat together. Jin Mulan doesn't refuse, opening her arms to let our boy help her. After removing Jin Mulan's armor, our boy's breathing becomes somewhat rapid. Seeing Jin Mulan's snake-like waist, her powerful long legs, and her explosive figure, our boy is utterly fascinated. And man, can't blame the guy. She's hot. Our boy calmed himself down and thanked Jin Mulan, but she just shook her head and said it was nothing, then told him she was proud of what he did today, but warned him to think carefully before acting in the future. This bastard then wrapped his arms tightly around Jin Mulan from behind. Jin Mulan tensed up, feeling our boy so close to her. She got all red but didn't let it show on her face, but then this bastard decided to be brave, and Jin Mulan felt our boy's hands sliding down. Jin turned and grabbed our boy's hands and asked him exactly what he thinks he is doing. Our boy fired back, "Can't blame me for this. Your skin's too smooth. It made my hands slide down on their own. It was completely unintentional." And then he told her to chop his hands off the next time he does this. Hearing our boy's weak excuse, Jin Mulan just told him not to let it happen again. They got to the dining room and this bastard still hadn't learned his lesson. Jin Mulan grabbed our boy's hand and pressed it on the table. Looking at him, she said, "Maybe it's better if you didn't have this hand." Our boy asked her with a straight face, "How do you take a man's words seriously?" She sat aside and let our boy eat. After finishing the meal, Jin Mulan put her armor back on. Seeing this, our boy asked where she was going. Jin Mulan told him she was leading the cavalry to patrol the coastline. She waved her hand, said goodbye, and told him to stay at home and not cause trouble. Meanwhile, Fatty, who had received the loving mixed doubles punishment, was taking arithmetic lessons. Although the imperial examinations in the Great Kingdom didn't include arithmetic, noble families placed great importance on it because arithmetic was very practical and could also train the practitioner's thinking. The tutor was Su Wenzhao, the most famous arithmetic master in mythical Turtle City, who also served as the chief steward within the Count's mansion, responsible for settling all financial and material accounts. At this moment, Fatty was very uncomfortable. His parents had beaten him without explanation, proved out so many whippings that he was wondering if he was even their son or just a stress-releasing doll. Su Wenzhao said the reason Fatty was beaten was because of Shen Lang. Fatty was surprised. Su Wenzhao brought up our boy's previous image and told Fatty that because he was underperforming, his sister Jin Mulan had to marry that useless man. And today's beating was because Shen Lang went to the casino, and because they can't beat that bastard, they instead turned to Fatty. Hearing this, Fatty's face darkened. At that moment, Suan Xiao subtly signaled to a servant nearby. The servant told Fatty that today, he saw Bing crying secretly, and when asked, she wouldn't say why. He said that it could have something to do with our boy. The implication was that our boy had harassed Bing. This enraged Fatty, who always regarded Bing as a sister. He got ready to teach our boy a lesson. Hearing what Fatty was up to, Bing ran to our boy's room and told him that Fatty was looking to beat him up. Our boy was surprised to hear that he was standing there wondering if Fatty lost his mind. Bing suggested that our boy should go out and hide, and she'd go inform the Mama Jin, but nah, our boy took Bing's hand in his and told her not to worry, as he has a plan to deal with that fat bastard. Bing didn't believe him. She tried to push our boy away, worried that he'd really get beaten up. However, our boy just brushed Bing off. This left Bing pissed off as she walked out the door, still deciding to inform the lady of the house. Then we cut to some time later. Fatty arrived at our boy's door with people screaming for our boy to come out and take his beating. But despite Fatty's loud calls, we got no response. Annoyed, Fatty pushed the door open, only to see our boy writing something on the wall. He asked what he was doing, so our boy told him that he was writing down names. Fatty then asked, "What are these names for?" To which our boy replied that these were his enemies and added that he was afraid he might forget them, so he was writing their names on the wall to remind himself to seek revenge. He drew a large cross over the names of Tan Shizhen and Qian Shi. Seeing this, Fatty asked what that meant. As our boy came down the stairs, he explained he'd already taken care of these two. And because all this dramatics wasn't enough, he told him to not forget what these bastards had done to him. He recited these names 3 times every morning and 3 times every night before sleep, so now Fatty was wondering what these poor bastards did to our boy. Shen Lang told him that Tian Shizhen once threatened him, so he had Chan Hang break his legs. As for Tian Shi, the grudge was even deeper. Not only did he threaten him, but he also pointed at his head. He hated nothing more than someone pointing at his head in this life, so both his arms and legs were broken. For a second, Fatty was shocked, thinking, is this bastard for real? Who holds a grudge? Just for that. Listening to all this, Fatty had realized that if he hit our boy, wouldn't he be torn to pieces by him? Then our boy's expression quickly changed and he asked Fatty why he was here. Now this bastard can't exactly say that he is here to bully our boy, so he just hit him with, "Oh, nothing much. I was just passing by." Our boy then asked him if he had heard that Fatty was coming here to beat him up. Fatty immediately went into damage control, asking who said that? Who dares to hit the Count's mansion's son-in-law? Then this bastard ran for his life, but nah, the moment Fatty ran out, he bumped into his most feared entity, his mother. Mother Jin grabbed Fatty by the ear and asked if what she heard was true, that Fatty had come here to bully our boy, and boy, she pulled the whip real quick. At this moment, our boy came out and protected Fatty, saying that Fatty was here just to have a chat with him, and nothing much. Seeing this, Mother Jin swung her hand and slapped the back of Fatty's head, saying how our boy was even trying to protect him. Then turning to our boy, she said, "You don't have to plead for my foolish son." She then turned around and pulled out a whip, but our boy told her not to beat Fatty up, as he was just a simple man, and if there is something, he'll talk to him. Mama Jin finally gave up the idea of child abuse and told our boy that he can do what he wants, and then, handing the whip to him, she said he is allowed to hit him if he doesn't obey him. Then we cut to some time later with Fatty in Shen Lang's room, and he's basically kissing Shen Lang's feet at this point, saying how if there's anything he needs, he'll just have to ask him. So our boy immediately asks, "So who put you up to coming here to beat me up?" And Fatty, this loyal idiot, shakes his head like, "No way, I'm a man of loyalty. I can't betray anyone." Shen Lang's standing there thinking this is exactly why your mother always beats you. Like bro is literally being sold out and he's still protecting the person who threw him under the bus. But you know what? Shen Lang actually respects that loyalty. It's stupid, but it's honest work. So he decides to just investigate on his own and sends Fatty away. The moment Fatty leaves, Shen Lang locks all the doors. Then this man pulls out a bag of moldy weed and starts scraping off the ergot fungus bit by bit. For those who don't know, ergot is seriously dangerous stuff. The next morning, Jin Mulan still hasn't come back from patrol and Bing is helping Shen Lang get ready. Shen Lang notices Bing's attitude towards him has improved significantly, so naturally he decides to test his luck with a joke. He asks, "Bing, do you know why white tigers are rare and precious?" She thinks about it and goes, "Because most tigers are yellow." Then Shen Lang hides behind the door, already preparing for violence, and drops his punchline, "Because men like hairless things." Bing just stands there completely confused, having no idea what this man is talking about. Shen Lang's internal monologue is killing me. She's too innocent. I was even afraid of getting hit by Bing, so I prepared to run away. My man made a dirty joke, realized it went over her head, and is now relieved he won't get beaten up. But then Bing says she'll ask Jin Mulan what it means tonight, and our boy had a mini heart attack right then and there. But then he thought that Jin Mulan is so innocent she probably won't understand either, so I probably won't get beaten. After breakfast, his father-in-law gives him another task: go to school. Shen Lang's like, "I'm already well learned. What more is there to study?" But daddy-in-law is still mad about the casino thing, so Shen Lang decides to just go through the motions. The Count's mansion has its own school with over 100 students, and the moment Shen Lang walks in, everyone's giving him death stares. Why? Because he married Jin Mulan, the dream girl of literally every boy there. Some guys even surround him, ready to jump him, but Fatty comes through with a clutch save, putting his arm around Shen Lang like, "This is my brother-in-law. Show some respect or I'll start hitting people." The group backs off, but they're still giving Shen Lang the evil eye. Then class starts, and the old master does a pop quiz. He asks Shen Lang about some classical text, and Shen Lang just nails it, recites it perfectly, explains the meanings with ease. The old master, thinking Shen Lang just got lucky, asks him more questions. Shen Lang answers them all fluently. Some of his interpretations are so good they even exceed what the old master knew. The teacher's mind is blown. Internally, he is going, "Shen Lang is a genius. I must report this to the Count. We cannot allow Shen Lang's talents to be buried." Everyone else in class is just sitting there shocked, because they all thought Shen Lang was a useless pretty boy who got lucky marrying Jin Mulan. The scene shifts, and now we get to arithmetic class with Su Wenchao, and this bastard already doesn't like our boy and is side-eyeing him hard. Shen Lang is confused. I've never even interacted with this person. Could it be jealousy like the others? But he's over 50. It's not likely he harbors fantasies about Jin Mulan. The class starts and Shen Lang finds it incredibly dull. The content is literally elementary school level stuff, so naturally he falls asleep. Su Wenchao immediately notices it and starts screaming at our boy. He even prepares to hit Shen Lang's palms as punishment, and our boy is like an old man. Aren't others asleep as well? This confirms his suspicion he's being specifically targeted. He wonders why. Could Su Wenchao be related to one of Jin Mulan's 5 suitors? Su Wenchao grabs Shen Lang's wrist to discipline him, and our boy tries to explain that he already knows what he was teaching, but nah, that old idiot isn't having it. He thinks that our boy was lying, so now it's 30 slaps and he'll have to kneel for 3 hours in front of Confucius. Shen Lang looks at him coldly and says, "I respectfully decline." The whole class is cheshostekig. Su Wenchao's face goes red, blood boiling, and he slams his ruler on the desk so hard it breaks in half and starts screaming, "Shen Lang, you're ignorant and yet you dare defy your teacher. I'm going to report this to the Count's mansion." Then he storms out. Fatty goes pale and tells Shenlang that if Jinsuke were to find out, he would get a good beating, but nah, our boy is not concerned about that. He asks Fatty, was it Su Wenzhao who instigated you yesterday? Fatty shakes his head, playing dumb. No, I can't say. To say it would be disloyal, but his face gives everything away. So Shenlang asks another question. Is he related to any of the 5 suitors Jin Mulan originally had? Fatty thinks about it and confirms, yes, he's the uncle of Wanglan's cousin, also a distant relative of his mother. Boom. The mystery is solved. Su Wenzhao is the uncle of Chief Clerk Wang Lan from the mythical Turtle City Mansion. If Wang Lan had married Jin Mulan, Su Wenzhao could have advanced in his career. But then Shenlang showed up, married Jin Mulan, and blocked that entire path. No wonder this guy sees Shenlang as a thorn in his side. So Su Wenzhao storms back with Jin Sakai, ready to watch Shenlang get absolutely destroyed. His teacher is out here accusing Shenlang of disrespecting his elders and tarnishing the Count's mansion's reputation, practically BGGing Jin Sakai to beat the crap out of him. Meanwhile, Fatty's already cowering in the corner because he's used to getting his ass beat, but Shenlang? Nah, our boy isn't scared at all. Shenlang looks at his father-in-law and calmly says he respects teachers, but the content Su Wenzhao was teaching was basic elementary stuff that he'd already mastered. He wasn't lying about knowing it already. Su Wenzhao lows his eye. To say what I taught was simple? Someone who spent 10 years in school and barely recognizes a few characters claims to have learned it all. Ridiculous and laughable. Then this confident bastard throws down a challenge. I'll give you 10 problems. You only need to solve 3. If you can't, you'll receive 30 strokes. Do you dare? Su Wenzhao is sitting there all smug, already imagining Shenlang getting beaten bloody. After all, arithmetic isn't taught in other schools, so there's no way this pretty boy knows it right. Shenlang accepts, then hits him with what if I solve all 10 questions. Su Wenzhao straight up laughs. Impossible. If you manage to answer all of them, I will publicly apologize to you. Shenlang immediately asks his father-in-law to bear witness. Su Wenzhao starts preparing the questions, and you can tell he's trying to come up with the most difficult, impossible problems. He's planning to make sure Shenlang can't solve any of them, so he has an excuse to beat him half to death. Then we cut to 1 hour later. Su Wenzhao, having exhausted his entire brain trying to come up with impossible questions, presents them to Shenlang. He's got 1 hour to answer. Shenlang glances at the paper and his lips curl into a smile. Is this it? Bro, this man had a master's degree from his previous life. To him, these questions are like using a cleaver to kill a chicken, complete overkill. First question. How many grains of rice are held by 100 people? Shenlang is thinking, isn't this a primary school question? Solves it instantly. The second question uses equations. Still too simple for him. The third question is disguised as poetry, but it's just a math problem. Way too easy. Fourth, fifth, and sixth, none of them are even remotely challenging. He's breezing through like he's taking a kindergarten test. Then he gets to the last question and pauses. Now, this is interesting. It's actually a world-class math problem from his previous life. A regular person definitely couldn't solve it. The question asks how many rows can be formed if you plant trees 4 per row, and most people can only figure out maybe 14 to 16 rows. But Shenlang, this absolute legend, can draw up to 23 rows, which would probably make Su Wenzhao's head explode. Shenlang quickly writes down all his answers. Not a single question stumps him. Meanwhile, everyone else is sweating. Su Wenzhao is waiting to see Shenlang get punished. Jin Sakai is worried Shenlang is just scribbling nonsense, which would make it impossible to defend him later. He even has a servant call Mother Jin just in case things go south. The exam is supposed to take an hour. Not even 10 minutes is passed before Shenlang hands in his paper. Everyone's shocked. Jin Sakai and Su Wenzhao, all of them are just staring. Su Wenzhao grabs the paper to review it, and the moment he sees the first answer, his expression changes. Is correct. He checks the second question, also correct. 3rd through 9th, all paraphrased all correct. Su Wenzhao's face is twisting like he's about to have a stroke. He can't accept that all his hard thinking resulted in questions Shenlang solved like they were nothing. Shenlang then asks, did I get them all right? Su Wenzhao immediately looks at the 10th question, convinced there's no way our boy could solve it. But when he sees Shenlang's answer of 23 rows, his eyes nearly pop out of his skull. This teacher has spent over a decade on this problem and only managed 16 rows. He's standing there thinking, is Shenlang human or a ghost? His entire pride is crumbling. Now, this bastard didn't want to admit defeat and lose face, so he just rips Shenlang's paper to HRES, throws it on the ground, and STMPS on it while screaming, what a mess you've made. It's utterly unbearable to look at. But Shenlang just stands there unfazed. Why? Because this genius made 2 copies of his answers. He calmly hands the second copy to the old master for review. Su Wenzhao panics. Jin Sakai steps in front of him to stop him from doing anything stupid. Su Wenzhao knows he's finished, internally cursing Shenlang's cunning. The old master, who's actually skilled in arithmetic, reviews everything from start to finish. When he gets to that last question, he's absolutely stew on ND. He looks at Shenlang in shock, then Kaden yells to Jin Sakai and goes, congratulations, my lord, for having an arithmetic genius. I've never seen nor heard of such talent. The son-in-law's answers are all correct, and his mathematical skills far exceed the limits of these 10 questions. I am humbled by his prowess. He He asks Shen Lang who taught him. And this cocky bastard with the most smug smirk goes, I taught myself. Isn't arithmetic quite simple? Even though Shen Lang gave all the correct answers, Jin Sakai is standing there thinking he still wants to beat this kid up. Man is really being too much with that attitude. Just then our boy notices that bastard is trying to sneak away, so he turns to him and goes, Yo, where do you think you're going? You just made a bet. Time to apologize. And man, Su Wenzhao looks like he's about to spontaneously combust right there. This teacher cannot handle the L he's about to take. He wants to run, wants to pretend this never happened. But then Jin Sakai steps in, saying how a teacher must set an example, and before this bastard could come up with another excuse, Mother Jin just walked in and she added her 2 cents. One must take responsibility for their actions. A promise made must be kept. Seeing this, our boy is internally grinning because he knows what just happened. Su Wenzhao? He's actually a distant relative of Mother Jin. Basically her guy, her backer in the household. So when she publicly calls him out like this, she just slaps this man's face in front of the entire room. Su Wenzhao is grinding his teeth so hard you can probably hear it across the courtyard. His face is flushed REG. This man has to apologize to Shen Lang while everyone's watching and enjoying the show. I'm talking maximum humiliation here. He can't take another second of this, so he just turns and bolts, but you know he's harboring some serious resentment against our boy now. The students watching all this unfold are looking at Shen Lang like he just became their hero. But then Jin Sakai walks up with this stern face and goes, extend your hand. Shen Lang knows what's coming. He reluctantly stretches out his palm and Smitty CK. Jin Sakai hits him with that classic don't get too arrogant and carried away energy. Cut to some sketchy secluded courtyard. Su Wenzhao shows up dressed in all black, holding this mysterious box. He knocks on a door, and when it opens, he presents the box all formal-like. This is my humble tribute to young Master Xang over the past 6 months. But wait, it gets worse. This bastard pulls out a scroll from his robe, and guess what's on it? The Count's financial information. Yep, this absolute piece of garbage straight up baited the Count's mansion just to secure his son's success in the martial examinations. Not long after Su Wenzhao gets home and probably thinks he's safe, guess who shows up? Tian Heng just appears in his house like some kind of ninja. This dude cuts straight to the point. Do you want to get rid of Shen Lang? Su Wenzhao's like, well, yeah, obviously, but then the Count is very satisfied with Shen Lang though. It's not easy to just take action against him, is it? That's when Tian Heng drops his master plan. He tells Su Wenzhao to use public opinion as a weapon. Spread rumors that Shen Lang is pretending to be weak, but actually has huge ambitions. Make it look like Shen Lang's scheming for power while simultaneously making Su Wenzhao look incompetent. Create this whole narrative that Shen Lang wants to seize control of everything. Once everyone believes the story, Shen Lang can be taken down without any bloodshed. It's actually pretty clever in a super evil way. Su Wenzhao agrees to collaborate. Meanwhile, outside the Count's chamber, Shen Lang knocks on the door. And oh boy, the timing. Jin Sakai comes out looking absolutely furious. Can't this wait until Toem or Milu? That Mother Jin pinches Jin Sakai, and she asks what's so urgent. Shen Lang realizes what he just walked in on, apologizes awkwardly, then decides to just rip the band-aid off. I suspect Su Wenzhao of embezzlement, and I want to examine his accounts. His annual salary is only 200 gold coins, yet his sons are walking around decked in gold and silver, and he owns like a bunch of properties in mythical Turtle City. Way more than what his salary could possibly afford. Jin Sakai slams the table. He doesn't want Shen Lang stirring up more drama. Clearwater harbors no fish. Basically the ancient Chinese way of saying everyone steals a little, just let it slide, man. But Shen Lang's not backing down. What if the embezzled money far exceeds your expectation and tolerance? Mother Jin asks if he has any evidence because you can't just go around accusing people without proof. And this is where Shen Lang pulls out his ace. He presents 2 account books showing Su Wenzhao's corruption in black and white. And get this, he mentions these are just 2 of them. There's more. Jin Sakai is naturally curious about where Shen Lang even got these books from Su Wenzhao's personal records. Shen Lang coughs lightly and goes, oh, I had Su Wenzhao fetch them for me. The Count and Countess literally can't help but cover their faces. You can practically see them imagining how Shen Lang manipulated their naive son to basically steal from Su Wenzhao's house. Mother Jin looks at Jin Sakai with that we have to deal with this expression. It's good to check. His status shouldn't be a concern. Jin Sakai agrees, but he's not stupid. He gives Shen Lang 3 conditions. First, Shen Lang must investigate alongside the old master. Can't go rogue. Second, whatever findings they discover must be brought to Jin Sakai first before any action is taken. Third, Su Wenzhao isn't home right now, so Shen Lang must steal once he returns and cannot confront him directly. Jin Sakai truly doesn't want to be the villain here. After all, Su Wenzhao served him for decades. There's history there. Shen Lang internally sighs, thinking, my father-in-law is too kind-hearted. Well, guess I'll be the villain then. Someone's got to do the dirty work. As Shen Lang leaves to start his investigation, Mother Jin embraces Jin Sakai with this look. Stop worrying. Let's go back to our room and continue what we were doing. Then we cut to the accounting office. Our boy walks in and is immediately still in any need. There are mountainous piles of account books everywhere, like floor to ceiling. The old master explains these are over 20 years of records while casually adding how it would take several months to go through them all, needing at least a dozen people. But you only have one night. Then he drops another bomb. The attendant who opened the door? He's Su Wenchao's trusted apprentice. By dawn, the news could reach Su Wenchao's ears. Once he returns, he'll take back control of the accounts. And the count is lenient. You will not refuse him. Most people would look at this situation and go, yeah, we're screwed. But Shenlang, this dude is going to phase ye. Old master, just find me an assistant to help pick out the key account books. See, they could never have predicted Shenlang's secret advantage. With his intelligence and modern accounting knowledge, the work that would typically require dozens of people, several months to complete, gets quickly sorted and summarized in his mind. He's basically running Excel spreadsheets in his brain. And when he starts crunching the numbers, the amount of Su Wenchao's embezzlement shocks even Shi-en Lei Ji. His eyes almost pop out of his head like a cartoon character, and he goes, "This bastard embezzled this much?" So while Shenlang's busy playing accountant detective, Su Wenchao gets a message from a servant and rushes back to the count's mansion in full panic mode. He can't believe Shenlang actually dared to audit his accounts. So this bastard shows up and immediately kneels before Jin Sakai with tears in his eyes, asking him, "Do you not trust me anymore? I've worked diligently for the count's mansion for over 20 years. Now Lord Shen is auditing my accounts. Such actions are a huge insult to me." Then this drama queen threatens to crash into a wall to prove his innocence. Jin Sakai quickly stops him, and Su Wenchao collapses on the ground sobbing like someone killed his dog. "I have been so ill. There's no one in the count's mansion more loyal than me. If you still don't believe me, you can take out my heart and see." Jin Sakai sighs and tells Zhang Jin to call Shenlang back and stop the audit, and this bastard is feeling smug, completely unaware of the fact that this is the beginning of his nightmare. Then this bastard starts running his mouth, telling Papa Jin how when he was in the city he heard rumors saying that Shenlang harbors great ambitions. Rumors start spreading outside mythical Turtle City about how Shenlang's planning to seize power, and he only pretended to be a fool in order to bag Jin Mulan. Jin Sakai becomes displeased because he's actually fond of Shenlang. Sure, the kid causes trouble, but Jin Sakai can tell whether someone has evil intentions or not. As Su Wenchao continues speaking ill of our boy, he walks in. The moment Shenlang walks in, Su Wenchao immediately starts accusing him of everything under the sun. But our boy just laughs lightly, walks up to Su Wenchao, and says something that makes this teacher's scalp tingle. "Su Wenchao, I never thought you could embezzle so much." Su Wenchao is shocked internally but pretends to be calm and asks our boy what he means by that, so our boy just reveals the exact amount. He's doubting Shenlang could audit over 20 years of accounts in one night. There's no way, right? Shenlang states deliberately 30,000 gold coins. Su Wenchao's eyes nearly pop out of his skull. Shenlang loudly questions him. "Su Wenchao, have you no conscience? Can you justify the trust my in-laws placed in you? 30,000 gold coins could cover the count's mansion's military salaries for a year. To put this in perspective, a normal family laboring for a year couldn't even save up 2 gold coins in a year. This man embezzled enough to run an entire military for a year." Jin Sakai is also utterly shocked. He knew Su Wenchao was corrupt, but never imagined it was to this extent. Su Wenchao, forcing himself to stay calm, kneels before Jin Sakai, alleging that Shenlang is slandering him, acting like Shenlang's pushing him towards death. Shenlang tells him it's useless to shout, then angrily rebukes him. "You've got some nerve, even daring to meddle with the military. The number of soldiers hasn't increased, yet expenses keep rising." Su Wenchao replies that's because of the rise in prices. Shenlang fires back, "Then, where do the annually depreciated horses, armor, and weapons go?" Su Wenchao, trembling, says they were melted down and remade. And our boy just grins and goes, "Then why haven't I seen an increase in iron production? Instead, it's decreasing. And even the salt from the count's mansion is diminishing. On the contrary, the production of sacks and bamboo frames has greatly increased. Why is that?" Su Wenchao can't answer, so Shenlang answers for him. It's because Su Wenchao used sacks and bamboo baskets to carry away the iron and salt. Su Wenchao's sweating coldly from being questioned, but still refuses to admit it. He loudly argues that Shenlang has no evidence. Shenlang directly throws out an account book. "This is what I made overnight." The account book allows Jin Sakai to clearly understand the expenditures and income, and he's shocked again. There's stuff like buying wine and taking kickbacks, among plenty of other corruption. The more Jin Sakai reads, the angrier he becomes. He asks Jin Zhang to bring the old master to verify if Shenlang's account book is correct. A moment later, the old master looks at Shenlang's work and is immediately surprised. He didn't expect Shenlang to make this in one night. Then he confirms to Jin Sakai that Shenlang's account is entirely accurate. Su Wenchao's face turns pale. He knows he can't confess his guilt. He has to wait for those big figures behind him to save him. The gold coins he hid away are his lifeline. So he grits his teeth and denies everything, accusing Shenlang and others of trying to slander him. Then he starts throwing a tantrum about how our boy just wants to eliminate those who are different. He wants to lay hands on the old folks of the count's mansion, and how the accounts are all fabricated by Shenlang. Without solid proof, I would rather die than submit. Seeing this, Jin wanted nothing but to beat this backstabbing bastard, but nah, our boy had other plans for this old idiot. So he just casually pulls over a chair, sits down in front of Su Wenchao all casual-like and goes, "I know where the solid evidence is. It's the gold coins that Su Wenchao embezzled and hid away." Su Wenchao naturally doesn't believe him. Shen Lang is indifferent and asks his father-in-law to take some men with him. Jin Sakai orders Jin Zhang to dispatch 100 cavalry, all to follow Shen Lang's arrangements. So we cut to an hour later. The group arrives at a stone outpost that's already in a state of semi-abandonment. Su Wenchao sees it and is so scared he can no longer walk. He can't figure out why Shen Lang knows about this place. Like, how did this kid find his secret stash? Just as Shen Lang's about to take Su Wenchao inside, an arrow suddenly shoots toward him. Jin Zhang instantly steps in front of Shen Lang, breaking the arrow while telling him to be careful. He quickly orders his men to clear the area. After a while, they only catch one person inside the outpost. When they see the face under the black clothes, Jin Zhang recognizes him immediately. It's Su Wenchao's son, Su Tin. Jin Zhang grabs his hair and demands to know what he's doing here. Su Tin says with a light laugh, "Coming here to play. Is that not allowed?" Shen Lang glances at him, then activates his X-ray vision, scans the area around him and goes, "Don't waste time on this idiot." He points to the ground and says that the money was hidden in the cellar and orders the soldiers to dig it up. So we cut to 15 minutes later and everyone's now standing in front of this cellar that just got revealed. But there's a problem. It's locked up tight and not even the soldiers' swords can break through this thing. Our boy immediately activates his X-ray vision and scans Su Wenchao from head to toe. And what does he find? This bastard hid the key in his hair. With one smooth reach and pull, our boy just yoinks the key right out of his head. Su Wenchao instantly goes mad, screaming at our boy, "Are you human or a geost? How could you possibly know this?" But nah, our boy doesn't care. He just unlocks the cellar and walks straight in. And what do they find inside? Man, Su Wenchao's corruption exceeded everyone's expectations. We're talking boxes upon boxes filled with gold coins, jewels, antiques, paintings, and the whole 9 yards. It's basically a dragon's court down there, and seeing this, Jin Zhang is absolutely enraged seeing all this. But then our boy finds something even better, an account book. And this isn't just any ledger, it's essentially Su Wenchao's diary of CRUPIN. This thing clearly records when he embezzled, how much he took, and probably what he had for breakfast while doing it. The evidence is now irrefutable, solid as a freaking rock. At this moment, the soldier asks the important question. What about Su Wenchao's son? Our boy states it flatly with no emotion whatsoever. Kill him. Burn the body to ashes and throw it into the sea. Su Wenchao's son panics and pulls out this scroll about the new policies of the Aksu kingdom, desperately saying that local nobles have no right to kill or threaten citizens. Our boy just gives him this cold look, draws a soldier's sword, and places it right beside the dude's neck. In the next moment, blood splatters all over Shen Lang's indifferent face as Su Wenchao's son convulses and drops to the ground. Jin Zhang is standing there genuinely impressed. "Son-in-law, the way you cut down a man feels even more skilled than me." Soon after, the entire convoy returns fully loaded with all that stolen treasure. Our boy is sitting in the carriage just staring at his palm, and he's having this moment. In this strange world, I finally stain my hands with blood. To live a comfortable life, it's really not easy. But no one can threaten my family. That's my bottom line. The scene shifts to the Count's mansion. Everyone was shocked to see how much money they had recovered and even shocked to know how much that bastard had managed to embezzle. We're talking a total of 11,000 gold coins found in the cellar, plus 52 famous paintings and calligraphies and 5 boxes of jade and jewels. Su Wenchao has been running his own little treasury down there. Just as Su Wenchao is about to start his whole pleading for mercy routine, the always kind Jin Sakai just straight up kisses him away. This bastard then turns to our boy, begging for his life, saying he's willing to become his servant, whatever it takes. Our boy looks at him with those cold eyes, turns to Jin Sakai and goes, "Su Wenchao must die." The old master then brings up the technicality because it's an employment relationship under the new policies of the Aksu kingdom. Nobles don't have the right to kill him. He must be sent to the Lord's mansion. But our boy refuses, saying that Su Wenchao embezzled 30,000 gold coins, but only 11,000 were found in the cellar. His properties are worth about 5,000 gold coins. The rest, needless to say, they've already been given to the Lord's mansion and the prefect's mansion in exchange for his son's place in the next martial examination. All these details are recorded in his account book. Our boy just exposed the whole corruption network. This isn't just about Su Wenchao. This goes all the way up. Jin Sakai takes the account book and his face is pure rage. Had I ever wronged you in all these years? Upon hearing this, Su Wenchao bursts into insane laughter, like full villain breakdown mode. Turns out Su Wenchao once wanted Jin Sakai to place his son in the Count's mansion army as a captain in charge of 100 men. But Jin Sakai refused. However, that was actually an OPP or TUNIT Jin Sakai was giving him. See, Su Wenchao's son was neither good at literature nor martial arts. How could he make his subordinates respect him? Simply put, the kid was too useless, like you guys. Then this bastard starts throwing a tantrum, saying how he had been loyal for over 20 years and in return, couldn't even do a small thing for his son's future. What's wrong with seeking another path? This infuriates Jin Sakai so much that he grabs a sword, fully ready to murder this man right here, right now. The old master quickly steps forward to stop him. If you really strike, you'll give yourself a huge problem. Seeing this bastard pushing his luck and taunting Jin did nothing but anger Jin Sakai even more. He pushes the old master away, about to go into full berserker mode. That's when our boy quickly steps forward. I have a way. But nah, this bastard was no longer putting up an act. He's insulting our boy, thinking he's untouchable because of those legal protections. Our boy looks at him and asks lightly, "Are you afraid of the Su family's family law?" The next moment, Jin Zhang walks in with several people. Among them, the old patriarchs of the Su family. After apologizing to the count, he immediately orders Su Wenzhao to be taken back and beaten to death according to family law. Su Wenzhao doesn't understand what's happening. He's asking why. Why? I just embezzled. I didn't break any family rules. The family ancestral hall has no right to kill me. Our boy just walks up to him, and then he drops the bomb. Su Wenzhao, the charge for killing you is not embezzlement. It's for seducing your aunt and committing the crime of adultery. Upon hearing this, Su Wenzhao is completely stunned, like jaw on the floor, stunned. Our boy doesn't want to say anything more and just lets the Su family members drag Su Wenzhao away. Su Wenzhao becomes truly frightened now, desperately shouting to our boy, "I have a big secret. Someone wants to harm you." Shen Lang responds with a slight smile. "If someone wants to harm me, I naturally know who it is." Then we cut to a few hours later, so Wenzhao was stripped clean and in front of hundreds of people was beaten to death. Medieval justice, folks. At the same time, Jin Sakai, regarding the great merit our boy established this time, asks him, "Do you have any rewards you want?" Our boy immediately thinks to issue an order for Jin Mulan to obediently listen to me. I want to share a bed with Jin Mulan. Of course, this is just Shen Lang's fantasy playing out in his head. What he actually says out loud is, "I don't want anything." Jin Sakai is like, "That won't do," and decides our boy will be in charge of the Count's mansion's accounts from now on. Our boy immediately refuses, saying that he wants to go home to visit his parents. "Just lift my house arrest." But facing our boy, the master of stirring up trouble, Jin Sakai is genuinely a bit afraid. He still doesn't want to let our boy go out freely, so instead he decides to reward him with 300 acres of good farmland. Just as our boy's about to say he doesn't want it and only wants his house arrest lifted, Jin Sakai just says that he is tired and walks out, completely ignoring him. The scene shifts to the courtyard where Jin Mulan lives. Bing is attending to her as she bathes. Bing's all excited. Miss, the young master, is really incredible, defeating and killing a big figure like Su Wenzhao overnight. He even recovered more than 10,000 gold coins for the Count's mansion. Jin Mulan listens with satisfaction, but then she reminds Bing, from now on, no one in the mansion is allowed to talk about the young master killing Su Wenzhao and the like. The reason Su Wenzhao died is because he deserved to die. Bing zips her mouth to show she understands. Then Bing remembers something and gets excited, curious. "Oh, the young master told me yesterday that the white tiger is the most precious. Miss, do you know why?" Jin Mulan's somewhat curious. "How did you answer?" Bing explains, "I said it was because of the color of the tiger. But the young master said the white tiger is rare because they were hairless in particular spots and men like that." She adds that she thought he was just talking nonsense. "What does the white tiger have to do with hair? Miss, what do you think?" At this moment, Jin Mulan is taken aback. It seems she realizes something and she instantly blushes from ear to ear, probably turning 50 shades of red. "How did our boy know my secret? Could it be that he spied on me bathing?" But then Jin Mulan thinks again. That's impossible. Our boy has no martial arts skills, so she would have noticed if he were spying on her. Then she asks Bing, "Where is our boy?" And when Bing sees her mistress's reaction, she finally understands what our boy meant. So Jin Mulan asks Bing to help her get dressed, and she's got this determined look on her face that clearly screams, "I'm going to punish the wicked and promote the good." Then she turns to Bing and goes, "Remember, Bing, a man must be kept in check. If not managed for 3 days, he'll climb onto the roof to remove tiles." Bing asks in confusion, "Are you going to hit the young master?" Jin Mulan turns around and says, "Women of the Jin family never hit their husbands." Okay, folks, so no hitting. But it only means that our boy is about to suffer in a different way. Then we cut to a few moments later. Jin Mulan spots our boy returning and immediately switches into actress mode. She puts on this sweet smile, asks our boy where he was, and tells him that she was looking for him. As he heard her sweet voice, Shen's spider sense told him that he was in deep trouble. He quickly goes, "Thank you for your hard work. I won't disturb your rest," and then tries to bolt out of there. But Jin Mulan blocks his path and says, "My husband, don't go yet. I have a game I want to play with you." Our boy glances at Jin Mulan's perfect figure and his face quickly turns red. Clearly, this dude's thoughts just wandered to some kinky territory, like being tied up with ropes or dripping wax. "You know the good stuff?" He asks Jin Mulan what game. She smiles and tells him that it's like primitive animals, a game involving intense physical collisions. And this idiot fell for it, but then his survival instinct kicked in again, and he was thinking he must leave immediately. This is a trap. This is definitely a trap. However, the next second, Shen Lang can't move. Why? because Jin Mulan's doing this fiery backward movement right in front of him, enough to make any normal man's heart explode just by looking, and bro got peep in Otai's D. We cut some time after, and Jin Mulan was having the time of her life torturing this bastard. She made him spread his legs to 180 degrees. Our boy is an Ajo knee. He then turns to her and goes, "Dear, weren't we supposed to play a game?" And Jin Mulan explains, nods, and goes, "Yep, this is the game. Your body is still too weak. You need to exercise more." After saying this, Jin Mulan releases her hold. "Take a rest. We'll do it 10 more times later." Hearing this number, our boy wails internally, "Is this an attempt on my life?" Although he doesn't know exactly why he's being punished, this bastard just goes, "Jin Mulan, whatever I did wrong, I'm sorry." Jin Mulan smiles and says, "There's no mistake. I was just helping to train your body." Our boy's like, "No matter what happened, it's all my fault. The wife is always right." Hearing this, Jin Mulan looks at our boy and asks, "Do you really know what you did wrong?" After that, she gives him this intense look and asks him, "How did you find out my secret?" And then use it to tease Bing? This idiot was confused at first, but then he remembers the words he used to tease Bing yesterday about the white tiger. He instantly understands and becomes Sanji for an instant. Seeing her husband's expression, Jin Mulan's face turns B8 She's wishing she could find a crack in the floor to crawl into. She also realizes that our boy had no idea about her secret. It was completely by accident when he teased Bing. He wasn't being some perverted genius. He just got lucky with his joke. Our boy, being the absolute legend that he is, gives Jin Mulan a thumbs up. "Rest assured, my lady, I will definitely not discriminate against you because of this." After saying this, Shen Lang immediately covers his mouth because it was at this moment you realize that he messed up. Jin Mulan looks at him and goes, "Let's do it 20 more times." Then the scene shifts to the night. Exhausted, our boy quickly falls asleep, or so it seems. Jin Mulan walks in at some point looking at Shen Lang's sleeping posture, and she can't help but think, "Aw, look at him all tuckered out from me torturing him." After watching for a while, she kisses him on the forehead and then leaves. However, this bastard wasn't asleep. He suddenly opened his eyes. "Jin Mulan trained me like that today. It would be strange if she didn't feel sorry." Our boy's out here playing 4D chess with his wife's emotions. After that, Shen Lang not only puts on a mask, but also wears gloves. He's got this small black bottle in his hand, a hallucinogenic potion extracted from hundreds of pounds of moldy rye. Why? Because to kill Tian Hang, our boy needs to retrieve an item from Jin Mulan's room. And clearly, whatever he's about to do requires some serious stealth mode. Then we cut to a secret room within mythical Turtle City. Tian Hang went to the mayor's room. They'd already learned of Su Wenhao's death, and they're panicking. They must act quickly to kill our boy before he becomes even more of a problem. At that moment, a Comfin comes in to report the governor's envoy is already on the way and will arrive at mythical Turtle City tomorrow. Hearing this, Tian Hang and the mayor know the opportunity to kill our boy has come. The city lord instructs Tian Hang to prepare everything they can to make their move tomorrow night. However, they were actually targeting the Count's mansion as a whole. But since our boy's been causing too much trouble and exposing their corruption network, they decided to kill him first. The scene shifts to the next morning at the Count's mansion. Jin Mulan gets up early to practice martial arts like the badass she is. After half an hour, she prepares to bathe. But when she arrives at the dressing room and looks around, something's wrong. She asks Bing, "Have you seen a set of blue cloth skirts?" Bing says no, and she's just about to help Jin Mulan look for it, when suddenly Jin Mulan's beautiful face fluoresces. She's obviously thinking of something and tells Bing, "Don't look for it anymore. It must have been left at the barracks and not brought back." So after breakfast, Jin Mulan's face is getting all red because she's trying to figure out how to tell our boy not to mess up her skirt too badly, but the words just won't come out. That's when our boy asks her if she wants a massage since she's been running around for 2 whole days. Jin Mulan's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" and sits up all elegant, lifting her hair. Our boy sees that smooth, fair neck and internally goes damn, but catches himself real quick. He puts his hands on her shoulders and starts working his magic. Jin Mulan immediately lets out this comfortable moan because she didn't expect this dude to actually know what he's doing. And why wouldn't he? He tells her she's so tense, and Jin Mulan gets suspicious, thinking he's being a pervert. She's like, "I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're being lecherous. Keep this up, and I'm making you exercise again." Our boy immediately gets serious and goes back to work, taking care of her properly. Then he tries the whole "please don't work so hard, it hurts my heart" routine. But Jin Mulan isn't falling for it. She straight up tells him if he's trying to get his confinement lifted, it's not happening, she won't go against daddy's orders. The second she finishes that sentence, our boy's hands are off her shoulders and he's run straight to the door, saying he's got business to attend to. This realistic performance makes Jin Mulan puff up her cheeks, thinking her husband is way too pragmatic. Like the moment she won't do something for him, he just changes his attitude and leaves her hanging. Fast forward a bit, and our boy shows up behind his mother-in-law. His massage game has leveled up even more. Not only that, but Mother Jin's face is covered with this facial mask our boy made. He explains she needs to apply it daily for 15 minutes. Hydration and sun protection are key for a woman's skin. He made 10 total and gave her 6. Mother Jin's curious about those other 4, asking if he gave them to Jin Mulan. Nope, kept them for himself. Then our boy drops this line about how right now she could pass as Jin Mulan's sister, but maybe not in 10 years. Mother Jin asks if that means she'll age faster. Our boy's like, nah, you might actually look like her younger sister by then. There's this thing called reverse aging. This cracks Mother Jin up completely. Women love hearing stuff like that, don't they? But what would you guys know? But she also knows our boy wants something. Sure enough, he brings up the confinement order. Mother Jin immediately stands up and says she'll talk to Jin Sakai right now. 15 minutes later, Jin Zhong tells our boy the confinement's been lifted. Boom. Just like that, a new power structure has been established in the Count's mansion. Our boy listens to Jin Milan. Jin Milan listens to Jin Sakai. Jin Sakai listens to his wife. And the wife listens to our boy. Poor Fatty's the only one left out of this chain of command. After leaving the mansion, our boy heads to this secret forest. He puts on Jin Newland's clothes. He was clearly about to do something. The scene shifts to Dasha's father, Song Yai. This piece of crap has been trying to get back to our boy ever since Dasha's brother got crippled by our boy. Song Yi wants to press charges against our boy and even wants to beat him up, but is scared of the Count's mansion. So he goes to Tian Hang, thinking they'll work together. But what happens next? Song Yai did not see this coming. He didn't expect Tian Hang's ruthlessness. This bastard's like, just accusing him of causing injury isn't enough. We need a life to make our boy pay with his own. And get this, his son's already been beaten to death by Tian Hang. Song Yai has no idea. Tian Hang looks at the grieving Song Yi and asks which is the greater crime. Injuring an innocent youth or causing his death? Murderers must pay with their lives. Prince and commoner alike should be punished equally under the law. Meanwhile, at Dasha's house, his stepmother is cursing our boy because he made a man express a pain one shouldn't, and now the Song family will have no descendants. The more she thinks about it, the angrier she gets. She's cursing our boy until her mouth gets dried, so she takes a sip of water. Something's off about it though. Next thing you know, she collapses onto the table. When does she wake up? Oh man, she screams. Everything around her suddenly looks terrifying, ghostly fires burning everywhere. Then this beautiful female ghost emerges, scaring the stepmother absolutely senseless. This hag asks her who she is. The ghost says menacingly, "Wicked woman, you actually harmed my Dasha. You shall die." As she's talking, ghostly fire appears in the ghost woman's palm and gets launched straight at this old hag. She instinctively raises her hand to block it, but the fire latches onto her hand and won't go out no matter what she does. In full panic mode, she grabs a cup of water, thinking that'll solve the problem. But nope, the fire keeps burning, causing unbearable pain. Song Ji starts begging, saying it was Dasha's father who abandoned him, not her. She realizes this ghostly woman is Dasha's mother from before her death. Our boy then approaches, her cold hand gently touching the ghostly fire, and it immediately goes out. Seeing this, Song Ji starts kowtowing like crazy, thanking her over and over. The ghost looks at her and says, "By heaven's grace, my son didn't die. He was saved by a lucky star, but your son has died." Song Ji was confused as hell. She looked at the ghost and said, "My son hasn't died, he was just injured." The ghost laughs and tells her that the news of his death will arrive soon, and they'll say Sheng killed him. And you'll be asked to go to the Count's mansion to identify our boy as the murderer. He then told her how but it wasn't Shen Lang who killed her son. It was her husband and Tian Hang. Hearing this, Song Ji desperately shakes her head, shouting that's impossible. But with a gesture from the ghost, she finds herself completely frozen. Our boy then goes, "Stop moving, old hag, and listen to me, or I will kill you." The ghost continues saying how Shen Lang is her son's lucky star. When Tian Hang asks you to identify our boy as the murderer, agree to his demands at first. But once you're at the Count's mansion in front of all the important figures, point the finger at Tian Hang. Claim that Tian Hang forced you to falsely accuse our boy and say it was he who killed her son. Song Ji wants to refuse after all. She can't afford to offend Tian Hang. But suddenly, ghostly fire surges around the woman, and the ghost comes close to her and says, "If you harm Shen Lang, I will drag you to the 18th level of hell and have you chopped into pieces and fried alive. Do you want to die?" This scares Song Ji so badly she loses control of her expression. But the next second, the ghostly fire disappears and the ghost says, "You can survive as long as you do as I say. The Count's mansion will protect you. After Tian Hang is dead, you can go home, and I will reward you with 300 gold coins. With this money, you can remarry and live a life 100 times better than now." Then the ghostly throws ghostly fire underneath Song Ji's bed. There's a down payment of 30 gold coins under there. After you identify Tian Hang, the remaining 300 gold coins will naturally appear again. Whether you live or die, whether you enjoy wealth and honor or suffer in the 18th level of hell, it's all up to you. With that, she disappears. When Song Ji wakes up again, her head is splitting with pain. But she notices burn marks on her arm, proving what happened wasn't a dream. She immediately looks under the bed, grabs a small shovel, and starts digging. What she finds leaves her stunned. Not only are there gold coins under the bed, but they're also encased in ice. She looks at the ice block and thinks to herself, it's summer, where the hell did ice come from? Moreover, there are words carved on the ice, which makes Song Ji even more convinced. She continuously kowtows to the ghost, promising to do as told. Then she finds the ice melting, which makes her extremely happy, believing it to be the ghost's response. Meanwhile, in a corner, our boy takes off the blue dress. He had used a hallucinogenic potion he made for Dasha's stepmother, white phosphorus for the ghostly fire, saltpeter for the icebox, and a silver needle to simulate that whole ghost pressing down on you feeling. Then this bastard looks at the sky and goes, well, dressing in women's clothes was indeed a unique experience, especially when you looked more beautiful than an actual woman in that dress. He then burns the dress, destroying the evidence. As for whether Jin Mulan would notice a dress missing, our boy thinks probably not. But if she does find out, he can't help but start brainstorming excuses. Then he decides, you know what? If it comes down to it, I'll just deny everything. Meanwhile, inside the Black Clothes gang headquarters, one of the subordinates tells Tian Hang the governor will be arriving soon. Tian Hang asks if the prefect is accompanying him personally. The subordinate nods. Tian Hang excitedly slaps the chair. Everything is ready, and the east wind has also arrived. Our boy is as good as dead, but he adds that crushing this stray dog is just a side benefit. Toppling the count's mansion is the main goal. He then looks toward Dasha's father and orders him to hurry up and bring his wife over to the count's mansion to identify our boy, and adds that he shouldn't forget to dress her in mourning clothes. Make it look more pitiful. Seeing that Song Yu is still heartbroken, this bastard just goes, it's just a son. You can have more. After killing Shen Lang, you'll be the head of Hanshu town. With these words, Song Ye lets go of his grief for his son, stands up, and thanks Tian Hang. So the scene shifts to Song Yi's house, and the old hag is just chilling on her bed when Song Yi walks in. He looks all sad and tells her that their son's dead. Dasha's stepmom immediately breaks down crying because she realizes that creepy ghost lady our boy was pretending to be wasn't actually lying to her. She's giving Song Ye this death stare already and wanted to kill this bastard. But Dasha's dad completely misreads the room and thinks all that hatred is aimed at our boy instead. After getting their stories straight with Tian Hang, they haul their son's coffin over to the Count's mansion. Meanwhile, at the mythical turtle Count's mansion, they're rolling out the red carpet for 2 VIPs. First up is Yan Wuji, this staff member from the governor's office, and then there's Zhang Chong, the ruler of New River County, and this Zhang Chong guy, he's an absolute legend. He single-handedly took down the local tyrant of East River County, and now he's been assigned to New River County to basically do the same thing. The Count's mansion are sweating bullets because they know exactly what that means. Jin Sakai and Jin Mulan personally come out to welcome these big shots. Then the scene shifts and everyone's sitting at this fancy banquet hall, and our boy, he couldn't care less about the political tension. Dude's just staring at Jin Mulan like she's the only person in the room. But then Yun Wujin puts down his chopsticks and goes, 20 years have passed. The governor sent me here to ask about your plans for the Isle of Gold Mountain dispute. You guys want us to mediate this peacefully or what? And just like that, everyone else puts down their chopsticks too. Our boy's a bit surprised because he actually knows about this mess. Turns out the Isle of Gold Mountain dispute goes back over 100 years. Both the Northern High Count and the mythical Turtle Count have been claiming this island as their own, and they nearly went to war over it. Finally, some previous monarch got tired of their drama and decreed that every 20 years they have this competition, martial arts and scholarly tests, and whoever wins gets the rights to the land for that period. Unfortunately, 20 years ago, the former count of mythical turtles was lost, which meant they also lost a massive chunk of wealth. Jin Sakai asks what the governor wants, and Yan Wuji drops his brilliant solution. How about we just split the Isle of Gold Mountain in two? North goes to Jin High Count's mansion, south goes to mythical Turtle Count's mansion. Our boy's sitting there like, bro, are you serious? Because everyone and their grandmother knows the main mineral resources and all the good stuff are in the northern half, while the southern half is basically just salty soil and beaches. As expected, Jin Sakai is pissed, but he keeps his composure like the dignified count he is and just says, let's drink. Yan Wuji doesn't really care. His job was just to show up and mediate on behalf of the governor, so mission accomplished in his book. Right then, they hear this massive commotion outside. You can hear thousands of people shouting to punish our boy and how he's a murderer who must pay for it with his life. And our boy, instead of being scared, he's actually excited. Dude's been waiting for this drama. Meanwhile, everyone else at the table is acting like they don't hear a thing, just continuing to eat and drink like nothing's happening. Our boy's thinking, truly like dignitaries, but he's also getting a bit anxious because if no one acknowledges this mob, the show can't start. He's literally thinking, if it comes to it, I'll have to take the lead myself. But then Fatty speaks up and goes, Shen Lang, I think there are people outside calling for you. The city lord sends someone to check it out, and not long after, Zhang Jin comes back to report that there are literally thousands of people outside the count's mansion. Jin Sakai isn't even alarmed yet, but the city lord is losing his mind, shouting, how dare they? Are they seeking rebellion? His subordinate explains that they're claiming our boy killed someone and they're here to seek justice. Jin Sakai is a bit stunned because he knows about the incident. He even sent money to Dasha's father to treat his son. Now the kid's supposedly dead, and Jin Sakai can already guess it's some bastard's doing. Mother Jin then pinches Jin Sakai, says, if you even think about abandoning our boy, you're sleeping on the couch for the rest of your life. Jin Sakai signals back that he won't and orders his men to let the people in. Shortly after, Tian Hang and Song Yi walk in carrying a coffin, and Song Ye immediately goes full drama mode. Looking at our boy, he cries out, scoundrel, return my son's life. Then he drops to his knees before the mayor, begging him to seek justice for him. What follows is this tearful complaint about how our boy bullied his son and beat him to death, and man, this bastard's acting is Oscar-worthy. Then he reveals his son's body, showing all these shocking wounds, and begs the lords to do the justice. At this point, Jin Mulan suddenly asks, when did your son die? Song Yi responds that he died the night after being beaten by our boy. Jin Mulan coldly asks, "Why didn't you come the same day? Why wait until now?" Song Yi replies that he was afraid because someone claiming to be a confidant of the count came to him, gave him gold, and threatened to kill his whole family if he didn't keep quiet. Jin Sakai is absolutely pissed to hear that because he knows that it's a blatant lie. He even thinks that his years of caution have made people think the count's mansion no longer commands fear. The city lord asks if there's any evidence, and Song Yi shouts that there are witnesses. The city lord orders them brought in. These men walks in and all of them say the same thing, that they saw our boy enter the house that day. The city lord looks at our boy and asks if he confesses to the crime. Our boy looks at him and says, "I did enter Song Yi's home, but I didn't assault anyone. I was there and deliver silver. Dasha was my good friend. I made sure Song Yi fed him well every day." As he said that Song Yi told everyone that our boy was lying, saying our boy clearly kicked his son to death, and his wife can testify to that, so the mayor summoned his wife. The city lord asks her if she's sure of what she saw, and Song Ji nods, saying she witnessed it herself. Tian Hang starts laughing, thinking he's won, while Song Yi kneels down desperately, begging the city lord for justice. Tian Hang helps Song Yi up and then loudly cites the law of the kingdom. Murder is repaid with life. Even princes are subject to the same laws as commoners. Our boy must be punished accordingly. At this moment, the Black Clothes gang started repeating after him. Murder must be repaid with life. The city lord then looks towards the count and says that to investigate this matter properly, they have to take our boy back to the city. Jin Sakai is furious because if our boy is taken away, they could frame him however they want, and listening to all that bastard Tian Hang is grinning like an idiot, thinking that his plan worked, completely unaware of what was about to unfold in a moment. Because Song Ji suddenly points towards him and shouts, "It was Tian Hang who killed my son." She explains that originally Song Yi had kicked her son and injured him, but when he was taken for treatment, he was fine, only a minor injury, but then he suddenly died after this bastard came to their house. What she said took everyone by surprise. No one knew what to say anymore, especially Song Yi. This bastard is shocked and now staring dumbfounded at his wife like, "Woman, what are you doing?" The quickest to react is Tian Hang. Though he's initially confused as to why Song Yi's wife suddenly changed her story, the look in her eyes told him everything. He realizes he's in deep trouble. But then he sees our boy smile and realizes escape is not an option. Once the prey is caught, no one lets go. Tian Hang coughs and tries to play it off, asking the old hag if she is talking nonsense because she is grief-stricken. He then turns to Song Yi with the face of, "Hey bastard, control your women," but nah, she isn't having it. She once again starts shouting about how they were the ones who killed her son. She explains that our boy came to their house to deliver silver because he was worried Dasha wasn't getting enough to eat, and Song Yi immediately tried to silence her, asking what madness had gotten into her and whether our boy threatened her or offered her benefits. At this point, Mayor Lu realized that their plans were doomed if she continued with her story, so he warned Song Ji not to give false testimony and to consider the consequences carefully. This bastard sees his plan completely collapsing and decides to go all in, accusing Song Ji of lying and asking if Shen Lang paid her off or something. But then Song Ji bites her lip and drops the most nuclear bombshell possible. "My son was hitting puberty and getting curious about women, so he tried to peep on me while I was bathing." Song Ji caught him and beat his ass. This confession has everyone shook. Tian Hang standing there with his mouth open. Song Ji's confused as hell, and Jin Mulan's dying from secondhand embarrassment, like someone just told her parents about her browser history. Now Tian Hang's really desperate, so he starts choking, gently coaxing the city lord, saying all soft like, "Hey, if someone threatens you, just speak up. The envoy from the governor is right here. They'll protect you." But this dumbass doesn't realize the city lord and Jiang Jin are internally screaming at his stupidity. Like, bro, these are high-ranking officials. You can't just name-drop them to bully random people and folks. This idiot's plan backfired, because all it did was scare Song Ji into literally crawling over to them, begging for justice. Jiang Chong waves his hand, helps Song Ji up, and tells her to speak freely about what happened. And look, whether he believes her or not doesn't even matter. He's got to look good for the crowd, you know? That's when she breaks down crying and spills everything: how Taemin killed her son, how her husband forced her to frame Shen Lang for the murder, and how he was promised the position of head honcho in Coldwater Town as payment. Hearing this, Taemin's face goes dark because the worst kind of lie is one mixed with truth. That shit's impossible to disprove. And right now this woman is weaponizing that tactic. So with no options left, he drops to his knees and starts loudly crying about how this is all Shen Lang's conspiracy. Meanwhile, Shen Lang's just standing there with his hands spread like, "Bro, I haven't said a single word all evening. How am I catching strays right now?" Seeing that the situation had gone out of control, Shang Chong ordered Lu Weiyan to arrest them. And boom, next second, both Taemin and Song Yi are getting tied up. Watching all this drama unfold, our boy's thinking to himself, "Damn, this guy's good." On the surface, Shang Chong is ordering the city lord to make the arrest, but what he's really doing is damage control and taking back control of the situation. Because if Shen Lang had to personally deal with Tian Hen himself, things would get messy as hell for the Jin family. As for Song Ji, who's also about to get dragged away, she's terrified. She just betrayed them. If they take her, she's 100% dead. But here's where Mother Jin comes in for the clutch. She doesn't even need Shen Lang to say anything. She walks over to Song Ji, wipes her tears, and saying how she's also a mother and gets her pain, decides to keep Song Ji at the Count's mansion. Jang Chong sees this and gives a slight nod, agreeing with Mother Jin's move. Jang Chong then gets ready to bounce, ordering the city lord to investigate thoroughly and give everyone answers. But before he leaves, he doesn't forget to praise Shen Lang. Lord Count, your son-in-law is truly something special. Shen Lang just bows slightly, playing it humble. After that, Father Jin personally walks Yan Wuji and Jang Chong out with Song Ji and Tian Hen trailing behind. And bro, Tian Hen's staring at Shen Lang like he wants to straight up murder him. Shen Lang, being the absolute troll he is, pretends to be scared and goes, "Yo, why are you looking at me with that creepy ass stare?" Tian Hen's so pissed he starts laughing and says, "Shen Lang, are you pleased with yourself?" Shen Lang spreads his hands, "Not at all. You're not dead yet. What's there to be happy about?" Hearing this, Tian laughs even harder. "Keep dreaming. Who's going to kill me? Getting thrown in jail is just for show. I'll be out in 3 days." And because Tian Hen's getting a bit too hyped and they're worried about Shen Lang's safety, the Count's mansion guards pin him down. But even while being held down, Tian Hen's still giving Shen Lang that smug look. Like, once I get out, I'm using every dirty trick in the book to end you. Shen Lang glances at Tian Hen with this look, then flashes this ice-cold smile and says, "Tian Hen, you're about to die." Tian Hen is caught off guard and starts laughing again. "You must be dreaming." Even Lin Wine and the others at Shen Lang look like he just said the dumbest thing ever. Tian Hen dying? Yeah, right, what a joke. After they leave the Count's mansion, the act gets dropped real quick, and Tian Hen gets untied. The city lord immediately asks Zhang Chong, "So how should we judge this case, sir?" But Zhang Chong doesn't respond, he just keeps walking. The city lord asks again, and Zhang Chong finally stops and goes, "Why did Taimei even show up tonight?" Taimei kneels down to admit his mistake. "There's bad blood between me and Shen Lang. I shouldn't have come tonight, but I couldn't help myself. I wanted to watch his downfall with my own eyes." Then this entitled prick turns to the city lord, hoping Zhang Chong would take him to the city lord's mansion for judgment instead. Yan Wuji, who's absolutely done with this nonsense, just boards his carriage without a word. Zhang Chong turns to Taimei and asks, "Do you really think you can flip this situation? Other people plan 3 steps ahead, while you're stuck thinking about what's right in front of you. Do you think Shen Lang just wanted to win tonight? Nah, he wants you dead." Taimei's confused. "Even if Song Ji betrayed me, I can easily get out of this." But Zhang Chong cuts him off. "Go kill Taimei. Hopefully you're still in time." And it was at this moment this idiot realized just how absolutely fucked he is, because Taimei Shisan is Taimei's most trusted right-hand man. What secret could Taimei possibly have that Shisan doesn't know about? Taimei and Cedric's face changes instantly as he shouts, "Quick, send someone to kill Taimei and Shisan now." Cut to our boy, and he's already plotting his next move. He knows damn well those bastards are gonna pull something, so he needs a counter plan, and his plan is Jin Mulan. So our boy asks her, "Yo, are you actually good at fighting?" Jin Mulan nods, and Shen's like, "How good though? Can you handle 3 waves of assassins sent by Lin Wuyan, Zhang Chong, and Taimei Sof?" And folks, this girl doesn't know what humble means. She immediately goes, "Piece of cake." Shen Long's a bit skeptical, like, "Bro, that's a lot of confidence." But there's no time to second guess her, so he immediately tells Jin Mulan to grab some people and head to Taimei and Shisan's house to rescue him. Jin Mulan doesn't waste a single second, ties up her hair, and damn, the artist really knows their camera angles. Great work, dude. She orders her crew to get the horses ready, and just as they're about to bounce, Shen Long comes running up saying he wants to tag along. Without a word, Jin Mulan just grabs him by the waist, yeets him onto a horse, then jumps up herself, and they're off speeding out of the Count's mansion toward Taimei and Shisan's place. On the way, Jin Zhong can't help but ask, "We could have saved Taimei Shafwei earlier, why go now and why the rush?" Shen Lang side-eyes him and goes, "Out of all of us, you've got the lowest IQ." Jin Zhong Kui jumps in from the side, trying to show off. "Listen, if Taimei doesn't try to kill Taimei Shaf first, our rescue would be pointless. We wouldn't be able to flip Shasan against him, and we couldn't back Taimei into a corner." Shen Lang narrows his eyes at Jin Zhong Kui thinking, "You love showing off, don't you? Out of the 5 of us here, your IQ is the second lowest." Cut to Taimei Shaf where he's lying in bed. He hasn't slept for 3 days straight at this point. And can you blame him? The man's whole world has been destroyed. The guy he looked up to as a father figure personally broke his legs, but even after that he can't bring himself to blame him. Because back when Taimei Shas was a kid struggling with hunger and cold, Taimei helped him out, which led to Shas following him loyally ever since. He even turned down offers from Zhang Jin and the city lord because of his loyalty. Yet for some gambling bullshit, Taimei actually struck him down. But folks, what do you know? That bastard really did care for him. Taimei didn't completely follow Shen Lang's orders. He immediately got Shisan's bone set, gave his parents 100 gold coins, and promised revenge on Shen Lang. This somewhat patched up Taimei and Shisan's broken heart. He convinced himself Taimei was forced into it and would never truly betray him. He was already imagining Shen Lang trying to bribe him with money and status to turn against Taimei Hang, and boy was he hyped for that moment. He had it all planned out in his head too. He's going to spit in Shen Lang's face first and call his dreams foolish. The next moment, Taimei Shisan's face goes pale as several figures in black show up, experts from the city lord's mansion and his former sworn brothers from the Black Clothes gang. Seeing them and realizing why they're here, Taimei Shisan immediately asks if Taimei Hang has sent them to kill him. They just slightly nod, knowing what's to come. Taimei Shisan begs his gang members to at least spare his parents, saying they don't know shit about anything. But they're like, "Nah, we got orders to wipe out everyone." Hearing that, Taimei Shisan loses it, screaming and asking them, "Why the hell do you have to drag innocent families into this? But they just kick him back down as his trembling parents get dragged forward, begging them to take their lives instead of their sons. Meanwhile, Tammy still can't understand why all of this is happening to him. So he asks these guys, why are you doing this? The guy holding his father replied, you know too much, Shisen. We can't take the risk. Hearing how that bastard Tammy Shisen was just using him, Shisen is heartbroken to the point that he straight up starts laughing like a maniac, but then he grabs his bedsheet and throws it towards the assassins, and somehow manages to take one of them down, even with busted legs. But that was all because the second guy stabbed him in the leg, pinning him to the ground, and at this point, Tammy Shisen has realized that he's not making it out of this alive, but he can't just do nothing and let his parents die. Meanwhile, his parents were still begging the assassins not to kill their boy. Seeing this scene, Tammy Shisen remembered the time when he went to kill our boy's parents, and he can't help but think if this is how our boy felt at that time too. Back to the present, the assassin was about to kill his mother. Then out of nowhere, Jin Mulan pulls up to the scene, and let me tell you, when she said she could handle these clowns solo, she wasn't just talking. This woman takes down all these assassins in seconds. Our boy Shenlong's just standing there watching his wife absolutely demolish these fools, and he's got this look on his face like he's watching the most beautiful thing in the world. The assassins who are still breathing take one look at her and immediately start backing up, putting their weapons away like, you know what? We didn't want this smoke anyway. Shenlong's standing there with the smoogest grin you've ever seen, feeling absolutely untouchable, when he hits her with the most out-of-pocket question. Babe, if we ever get into an argument, would you throw hands with me like this? Jin Mulan just gives him this death stare, and that's when our boy notices Jin Zhong and the crew have formed this whole defensive formation around him. Meanwhile, Shen Lang's already moved on to flexing on the assassins, pointing at their necks all dramatic, go back and tell Tian Heng to wash his neck and wait for me, because I'm coming for him. Now these assassins really want to wipe that smug-ass smile off Shen Lang's face, but they can't do jack about it. Why? Because our boy just secured Tian Shen Lang, and this man knows where all the bodies are buried. If Tian Shen Lang opens his mouth, Tian Heng is basically cooked, but there's nothing they can do right now. So they decide to dip, except when they get outside, yeah, all their lookout guys are dead. Shen Lang really said, no survivors, no witnesses, no problems. After everyone bounces, Shen Lang just stands there staring at Tian Shen Lang, who's crouched down trying to pull the sword out of his leg. But homeboy's arms have about as much strength as a wet paper towel, and that blade was deep, so it takes him a hot minute to yank it out. While he's doing this, Tian Shen Lang's brain is working overtime thinking, how's Shen Lang gonna try to recruit me? Money? Power? Protection? What's the play here? But nah, our boy Shen Lang just stands there in silence, and it hits Tian Shisan that our boy is his only way to survive. This mess is to pledge loyalty to Shen Lang. So what does this man do? He crawls over on his hands and knees and presses his forehead to the ground, pledging his undying loyalty. Shen Lang looks down at him and goes, alright, smart people don't need long-ass explanations. From now on, you're Shen Shisan. But folks, our boy isn't completely stupid. I mean, he is stupid, but not when it comes to trust. In the very next second, Shen Lang casually drops the most savage line. Oh, by the way, your parents are moving into my mansion now. Jin Mulan's standing there like, did this man just take hostages and somehow make it sound like he's doing them a favor? But Shen Shisan now presses his face against Shen Lang's shoe and agrees. Anyway, because what choice does he have? Shen Lang immediately switches up his whole vibe, all smiles and sunshine, helping him up like they're childhood best friends. Cut to the city lord's mansion, and Lu Weian just got the news about what went down at Tian Shisan's house. When he hears they couldn't save Tian Heng, this man's face goes white. He slams his fist on the table so hard the whole room shakes. See, Tian Heng was paying him fat stacks every year. This was his guy. Killing him would be a massive blow to his reputation and his wallet. The city lord asks, what about Zhang Jin? Turns out Zhang Jin heard everything went sideways and rushed to catch up with his father. But when he does, his old man hits him with a whole lecture about how a real commander should carry himself, and then straight up orders him to take out Tian Heng. Zhang Jin's like, what? Hell no. But his father's not budging. He tells Zhang Jin that Tian Heng's become a liability. The dude's no longer useful, and a good commander knows when to cut his losses. You have to see the big picture, not cry over losing one chess piece. But Zhang Jin is not having it. Why? Because killing Tian Heng is exactly what Shen Lang wants, and to Zhang Jin, doing that would be like letting Shen Lang bitch slap him in front of everyone. It's about pride now. Back at Black Clothes, at gang headquarters, Tian Heng gets the devastating news that Tian Shisan flips sides. He dismisses everyone and steps outside alone, standing there in the darkness. This man knows that once Tammy Shisan starts talking, it's game over. Nobody can save him. He looks up at the rooftop, wondering if this is really how it ends for him. Man's having all the regrets now, wishing he'd ripped Shen Lang apart when he had the chance. He punches the wall in frustration, muttering, sorry dum-dum. Then he walks over, moves a bookshelf to the side, and disappears into a secret chamber. Then the scene shifts to the Shu family mansion. Zhang Jin is getting in Shu Chanshan's face, asking why the hell she didn't kill Shen Lang when she literally had the perfect shot. She dodges the question hard and fires back with, well, what did your dad say about all this? Zhang Jin doesn't sugarcoat it. He told him to kill Tammy and Holbit. Right as they're having this lovely lovely conversation, someone bursts in, announcing the city lord just rolled up. The city lord walks in and immediately starts going off. Like, are these people stupid? If they kill Tammy Holbit, they're going to look like complete villains. They'll lose mad money every year, and worst of all, Shenlang will be dancing on their graves. Does Zhang Jin not understand basic strategy here? But just as they're in the middle of a what if our crimes get exposed panic session, some subordinate comes running, saying Tian Hun is requesting a secret meeting. Cut to the very next day, and there's a massive crowd outside the city lord's mansion. Tian Hun is kneeling in the hall, facing all these accusations. And this absolute madman starts laughing like a psychopath, screaming at the top of his lungs how he'll go out with a bang and won't die like some pathetic dog. He's roasting everyone, saying these losers can't even beat Shenlang, and they want him to roll over and die. Then right in front of hundreds of people, this man charges headfirst into a stone pillar and just straight up dies. Everyone's standing there with their jaws on the floor. The underworld boss of mythical Turtle City, the guy who controlled everything, who made it rain, money, who had the whole city in his pocket, just went out like that. Shenlang gets the news immediately while he's in the middle of writing up Tamian's list of crimes. He tells Shisan they don't need that list anymore. But all of this feels so sudden to him. So he asks Shisan if Tamian had a body double. Shisan shakes his head, saying he's never seen or heard of one, but our boy is still not convinced. He thinks that Tamian isn't actually dead. He shares his theory with Jin Mulan, and she's like, wait, what? The people who gather intel for our family are super careful. There's no way they mess this up. But Shenlang breaks it down for her. Look, Tamian shouldn't have died in public. He should have been secretly executed. Think about it with Shisan defecting to them. Tamian knew all the dirty secrets that implicate a bunch of powerful people. If that stuff got exposed during a trial, everyone would be screwed, but with Tamian dead, everything's buried. That's why it makes zero sense that his execution was public. Jin Mulan's brain starts clicking into place because she realizes the city lord's mansion has the right to execute prisoners, but it has to be verified by the governor's mansion, and that back and forth takes at least 2 weeks. So the best way to handle this would have been to make Tamian commit suicide in prison. That's exactly what Shenlang's saying. Tian Hen should have died in prison. Quietly, but instead he died in full view of hundreds of people. Like his death was meant to be a whole-ass performance for them to witness. Shenlang then asks if Tian Hen's body is still here. Jin Mulan personally escorts him to see it. But when they get to the body storage, Shenlang is one step too late. Tian Hen's body's been burned, turned into charred remains, completely unrecognizable. But our boy Shenlang doesn't panic. He whips out his X-ray vision and scans the entire body. Within seconds, he detects something off about the corpse, and he just starts laughing like a maniac, saying this is even better, and it'll be way more satisfying to kill him with his own hands. Jin Mulan standing there stunned, obviously catching on that Shenlang saying Tian Hen isn't actually dead. Shenlang turns to her with that cocky-ass grin and says to join him tonight to watch a good show. But Jin Mulan's had enough of his incredibly narcissistic ass and just turns around to leave. Shenlang hurries after her like a puppy. Meanwhile, in some secret room within mythical Turtle City, in Shu Chenchen's hands is a wooden mask, and the inside of this thing is coated with straight-up sulfuric acid. She hands it to Tian Hun to use for disfiguring himself. Flashback to a day earlier, the secret passage Tian Hun entered led straight to his brother's room. Turns out his brother had some intellectual challenges, and Tian Hun just needed to bring him some tasty food to make him super happy, completely unaware it was his last meal. Then Tian Hun asked his brother to show him some martial arts moves. His brother stood up, got into position, and started practicing punches indoors. Suddenly he threw a punch at the wall next to him, instantly creating this deep hole. Tian Hun praised him because even though his brother was simple-minded, he was a straight-up martial arts prodigy. The dude's got the mind of a child, but can punch through walls like they're made of paper. Then Tian Hun asked his brother to strip down with him, revealing that their body shapes were exactly the same. Even the scars on their bodies matched perfectly. Knowing his simple-minded brother liked to imitate him, Tian Hun said he wanted to see how well he could mimic him. His brother immediately dropped the smile on his face, transforming from a fool into this sinister underworld figure, looking even more like Tian Hun than Tian Hun himself. So Tian Heng taught his brother a few specific phrases. The exact phrases Tian Heng said when he supposedly died by crashing his head into that pillar. So the one who actually died was just Tian Heng's brother mimicking him. The real Tian Heng was preparing to completely change his appearance, so he could take his revenge on Shenlang later. As Tian Heng presses the sulfuric acid-coated mask against his face, his skin immediately starts sizzling, but this psychopath merely twitches slightly. Zhu Qinxian, watching this whole thing, can't help but admire how absolutely ruthless this man is. Then Tian Heng stands up and walks outside. Lu catches on quick, asking if he's going to take his revenge now. Tian Heng grits his teeth and says Shenlang didn't wait to get his revenge. So why the hell should he wait? He wants his beloved parents to disappear from this world. Lu Yan doesn't say much, just tells Tian Heng to go ahead without worry since they've already prepared a scapegoat for him. So with his face already completely disfigured by the mask, Tian Heng heads towards Shenlang's parents' home. Upon arriving outside the house, he's already changed his hair to blend in. He can hear the breathing of 3 people inside. After confirming the count with one gentle slice, the door latch silently breaks. After entering Shenlang's home, Tian Heng sees 3 people on the bed, and this man's thinking one thing he wants: Shenlang to regret being his enemy for the rest of his life. After that, Tian Heng walks into the bedroom and starts going absolutely feral, slashing Shenlang's mom and his dad, and then when he gets to the little brother, he thinks, nah, the sword's too quick, and actually picks up a stick to break the kid's legs first before stabbing him. And just to really sell how far gone he is, he starts laughing, like genuinely cackling to himself, and then the door opens. Shenlang walks in. Tian Heng doesn't even hesitate. He grabs the knife and goes to finish the job, still pretending to be Song Yi. So our boy told him to drop the act, as he already knows that the dead body they found wasn't his. Shen has already figured out what happened. Tianheng used his own brother as a body double, sent him to die in his place without a second thought. Shen Lang looks him dead in the eyes and basically goes, "You are genuinely one of the worst people